Hokage Hatake Glory, Chapter 321-340. Text Chapter 321 _ The Rhythm of the Plane. Yuhi, Yamato, take them back. Baidu Interesting Academy. The loud rumbling sound kept knocking on the surrounding trees. Might Guy suddenly lit up and Kiba said to the two teammates. Kurenai Yuhi Yamato Tenzo was shocked. Guy I'm the 6th generation of Hokage from Konoha. Might Guy gave his friend a thumbs up, and then looked at Tianzang, who had little contact with him. Where there are leaves flying, there will be fire burning. I still remember the 3rd generation of Hokage-sama. Did you say anything? Wherever there are leaves flying, the fire will burn. The shadow of the fire will illuminate the village and cause new leaves to sprout, and the true power of the ninja will be revealed when trying to protect the people he cherishes most. Leaving with the future of the village and protecting them means protecting our future. We can go together, Kurenai Yuhi exclaimed. 580, Guy shook his head. Yuhi, you should understand that I have to stay here. Why Teacher Guy? Lee Rock interjected suddenly, tears welling up in his eyes. Idiot, the teacher is Hokage. Boom. His fist hit the top of his head and hugged little Lee into his arms. Guy burst into tears and was speechless. Sakura, Inuzuka Kiba, Tenten, Aburame Shino, the top 4 shrank side by side in the corner, and a chill poured into their hearts. Kurenai Yuhi and Tenzo looked at each other and closed their eyes sadly. What Guy meant, they understood that at the time of the 5 Shadows talks, if Konoha didn't show any notable performances, he would definitely fall into the limelight, and there would be countless troubles in the future. One bad thing is the fate of destroying the village and destroying the clan. They can choose to run away, others won't say anything, and they won't get caught. But Guy can't go. Hokage's identity predestines him to fight side by side with the rest of the 4 shadows, even if he dies, or Konoha will become a target of public criticism. Baidu Interesting Academy. Lee, be obedient. In the future, when the teacher is not by your side, you have to work harder. The name of the blue beast is entrusted to you. Mr. Guy. Lee, let's make an appointment. The big Kiba flashed his thumb again, and Might Guy choked and said, if the teacher can go back to Konoha, I'll treat you to a big meal. Mr. Guy. Not posing in the same pose as before, Lee Rock lowered his head silently. Guy rubbed his disciple's forehead vigorously. You are still young, your shoulders are not broad enough, don't think about revenge for your master. Remember, before you really grow into a man, the first thing you have to do is live bravely instead of being a coward who will die for nothing. Lee, look at me, don't think about anything else until you become a teacher. Mr. Guy. Promise, Guy said and raised his hand. Lee Rock wiped away tears. Promise. The fists that were slammed together slammed hard 3 times. Might Guy nodded to Yuhi and Tianzang. They will ask you, for the future of the village, you must go back alive. Mr. Guy. Master Guy. Lord Hokage. Aha, it's finally recognized by everyone. Listening to Tenten Inuzuka Kibasakura's shout, Might Guy exhaled the big Kiba excitedly. Aburame Shino pushed his sunglasses and walked over to Guy and gave a deep salute. He was doing the etiquette when a subordinate came to meet a superior. Action. The team that sank deep into the ground was divided into 2, watching Might Guy rushing towards the back of the sun. Lee Rock's tears flowed into an ocean. Mr. Guy. The footsteps paused slightly during the run, and Might Guy smiled at the sun. Lee, you are the best. My teacher has always believed that you can become a great ninja. Live with the blessing of being a teacher, and the youth without regrets will burn. I'm Konoha's 6th Hokage, the blue beast Might Guy. The 8th inner gate's 6th gate view gate open. That's Hokage. I thought this guy took the opportunity to escape. Haha, the warriors of Konoha will never leave their comrades and flee alone. Lord Rakage, Lord Mizukage, Lord Kazekage, leave it to me. Did this idiot figure out the situation? Leave it to him, what can he do? Terumi stared blankly at Guy, then pointed back, are you going? Okay, I'll go, where is the enemy? Eyes wide open, Might Guy looked left and right strangely, didn't see the enemy, only saw two Jinchuriki column suns. When did this thing appear? Gaara was speechless. Look up. Up. Slowly raising his head, the huge Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, kept waving his hands. Guy glanced at the pervert thing, and put it out in an instant. He is a human, not a god, how can that kind of pervert fight? The ground, and shortly after Might Guy emerged, the ray managed to kill an arm of Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path. But before people could cheer, the guy opened his mouth wide. Looking at the 7 monsters slowly showing their true shapes, Terumi Mei, Gaara, the 4th generation of Hokage, and Might Guy were not calm. Tailed Beast. He actually summoned the Tailed Beast. That's the 3 tails. There's no mistake, it must be the 3-tailed Asada, and that one, even the 6-tailed Thunder Beast came out. That said, big drops of cold sweat slid down his cheeks. Terumi Mei was shocked on the spot. They should all be tailed beasts. Gaara looked at the 7 monsters, looked at the civet cat on the far left, and said, that is just one tail of our Sunagakure village. I used to be his Jinchuriki column force, I will never admit it wrong. No more guessing, our village's 2-tailed cat is also inside. Yiyai shook her arms and looked at the 2-tailed black cat. 1-tailed Shukaku, 2-tailed cat, 3-tailed Isota, 4-tailed shark, 5-tailed Penghu, 6-tailed thunder beast, 7-tailed raccoon dog, and the 7 monsters that appeared, roared in the sky. Spartan's gleaming light rode on top of the blue dragon's head, almost breaking 2 dragon horns. He was aiming. Who did he provoke? Do you need to play like this? Tailed Beast Bomb. 7. Let's all go to the plane together. 1. Kill you little Guangxi. Brother, stop playing, okay. As if he was dodging back and forth in the arcade plane game when he was a child, Liuman was beaten by the light from the 7-tailed beasts, Jinchuriki column, and fled in embarrassment, holding his breath while escaping. Brother just hit you with a cannon. As for you, are you still playing Kuno? You look at brother and wait, you look at brother and wait. More 3, wake up and hurry up, brothers and sisters, come on together. Recovering well, aim. Text chapter 322 _ cross peaks in the dark. Let's go help. Heihei168.com. Chased into a dead dog by tailed beast bomb, Terumi Mei couldn't sit still, and rushed to the battlefield regardless of her aching right leg. Just as he was about to stand up, his shoulders were pressed down. Who? I think you need help. 2 golden ponytails fluttered slantingly, and a woman with blonde hair and eyes came into view. Seeing the person coming, Gaara, Terumi Mei, and the 4th generation of Hokage all changed their expressions, and Might Guy opened his mouth and turned into a hippo. Senju Tsunade. Tsunadiheim. 3 minutes for an injury like this. Spirituality slug. Split, heal them. Yes, Tsunade-sama. The 30-centimeter tall slug crawled to the crowd, and Tsunadiheim set his sights on the battlefield. It will send you news at any time and heal your body. With the floating of the Cage Kid, we can completely contain those tailed beasts. You can't win like this. Terumi Mei looked at her knee-length hair, and pointed to Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path's half-grown arm. It's very resilient, it's exhausting. We can only die in the end. Quote. You want to retreat. Tsunade heard a voice over. Zhao Dame lowered her eyes and said, this is also impossible. This can't be done. We have to get rid of it. Hokage of the 4th generation slammed the ground hard. We are already the strongest ninja group in the 5 countries. If we can't solve this guy, there is no point in escaping back. Therefore, it must be fought to the death. Quote. The leader of Akatsuki is seriously ill, and it is wise to choose to retreat. Terumi Mei suddenly raised the previous discovery and said, this kind of enemy can be dragged to death as long as possible, and there is no point in fighting. Are you afraid of dying? Hokage raised the tone contemptuously. Terumi Mei was furious. I'm not afraid of death. You're not afraid of death and you would choose to run away. Humph. Girls are girls, and they are really unreliable things. Bastard. You'd better make it clear. I was embarrassed when she saw Tsunade Hime suddenly get angry. I was patronizing the 5th generation Mizukage just now, and I forgot that there was also a woman next to me. Terumi Mei narrowed her eyes with wrinkled eyes. I'm not afraid of death. From the moment I became a Mizukage, I had the consciousness to die. But the current situation is not like this. Knowing that I will die is unwise. We don't need to be buried with them. What if he doesn't die? Yuyai also has her own considerations, saying that any righteousness is false. Now that Konoha destroyed Kurigakure, they and Sunagakure were left intact. Akatsuki attacked again, only to choose one of two. Compared with the two, Sunagakure without the tail beast will obviously not be targeted by Akatsuki, only their Kumogakure will be the first choice. 5 generations of Mizukage, you are really calculating, and women's minds are indeed vicious. The bifurcated mustache pouted twice. Yuyai looked at Terumi Mei deeply, and did not let her look at the big beauty. The silent war broke out suddenly, and Senju Tsunade raised the corners of his mouth in contempt. This is the village, this is the shadow. Obviously, disaster is imminent, and they still do not forget to calculate each other. Even if you can dodge this time, you can dodge the next time. So what if Uzumaki Nagato died? Don't forget, there's an old monster that hasn't come out yet. Tamari, Enko, Hinata, come here. Shizune. Quietly beckoning to the 3 girls to follow, Shizune took the person back to the hiding place. This is a stone cave on the edge of the battlefield, you can see how it came from looking at it. Seeing Enko Hinata Tamari coming in, Uzumaki Karen pouted. On the battlefield, Liamongia drove the azure blue dragon to dodge back and forth. Not to mention the other tailed beasts, they were all ground species. 3 pairs of wings hooted, a long tail pouted, and a long, bifurcated horn grew on the top of its head. If you look at it carefully, it looks like a bug, but if you look carefully, it's just a bug. You bastard, you're welcome to chase me again. The continuous tailed beast bomb shot out from the ground. If it wasn't for the azure blue dragon as an energy body, it wouldn't matter much if it was hit, and Liamong would have been hit long ago. Even so, the space for counterattack was lost. Wait until they run out of chakra. Depend on. This is really the most bullshit thing in the world. The tailed beasts have been fighting for several days, and they have been fighting with them to find death. Just when Liamong was desperate, the support team flew up. 5th generation of Kazekage Gaara, the Slug Princess Tsunade, the 4th generation of Reikage Yayui, the 5th generation of Mizukage Terumi Mei, and the 6th generation of Hokage Might Guy. Soon as he flew to the side, Terumi Mei said, "Little friend, do you think we should retreat?" Mizukage you. Don't be angry, I'm just asking casually. The charming folded her hair and blinked her eyes. Jiaodame deliberately angered Reikage, and when she got angry, she sold it again. Okay, the tailed beast underneath. 1 per person, 6 tails to me, my Yoden lava style just restrained it. Quote. I'll come at the end. Gaara nodded to her old nemesis. Might Guy thought and pointed to the 3 tails, leave that to me. A group of powerful villains know how to pick soft persimmons. You've all chosen, I'll go deal with Erway. 4th Reikage glared angrily, turned around and killed the cat. Don't look at this black cat with few tails, the truth is difficult to deal with, I am afraid it is only under the 8-tailed Kyubi, 9 tails. The name of the Grim Reaper pet is not for nothing, and the dark attribute is something that many ninjas can't touch. Terumi Mei in the 6-tailed Thunder Beast. Gaara vs. Shukaku Aikyo. Might Guy slams Mighty. Tsunade thinks about getting the 5 tails under his subordinates. The 5-tailed beasts were restrained and turned around with a sigh of relief. Grandchildren, it's time for me to be your grandfather. The azure blue dragon rushed to me. Nagato. Mian. One paper crane after another was folded, and Conan shed tears in the air. More and more paper cranes were flying around, and the slower and slower golems gradually slowed down. Nagato is about to die. Breaking through the soil and drilling out of the ground, Akatsuki's white zetsu's eyes were awe-inspiring, and Ah-Fei, who appeared in the eddy current, also sank. What to do, in case the tailed beast escapes, our plan. 4. Cloud continues to work hard. If you have any comments, please leave a message in the comment area or group. Cloud will read it every day. Friends who have made comments, please write a little more detailed, a sentence or two. I really can't understand the Cloud, please. Text Chapter 323 _ The Long-Winded Monkey. They Can't Run. Morning Peacock. Yoden, Lava Style. Chakra Enhanced Strength. Thunder Abuse Level Chio Dance. Who opened the 6th door, threw rounds of fireballs like machine guns, and Might Guy bombarded Sanway. Asada fluttered 3 tails, and a single eye glowed brightly in the middle of the shell-like head. Terumi Mei, who was not far away, had a Doden earth style and a Suivan water style, which merged into a dark green mucus, and a piece of smart mist spit out from his mouth, blocking the bubble, spitting slug in front of him. As a female ninja, Senju Tsunade is much more violent than Terumi Mei, chakra enhanced strength, heavenly foot of pain, wide open and close to attack with 5 tails. This is a white animal with horns on its head that looks like a deer but not a deer. His favorite thing to do is hit people with brain seeds. In history, this thing has been used to injure an 8-tailed bull. However, when I came across Senju Tsunade today, it was bad luck. 1 hit, 1 slap. 1 hit, 1 slap. Senju Tsunade was very smart and didn't push hard. He flashed his fists and kicks in a flash. Penghu, who could only put his head on people, fell over a dozen times in a row, and was so dizzy that he couldn't find Bei. Compared with Tsunade's leisure, the 4th generation Reikage is going to be much unlucky, and the 2-tailed cat has only 2 tails. But this cat demon with big pointed ears and sparkling sawtooth Kiba is a monster with dark attributes. This is the 4th generation of Reikage to hold the Thor armor. If you change someone else, you will have a bad luck, and it is very likely that you will not get better in your life. Reikage and the cat barked again and again. Gaara and Yue stared at them with big eyes and small eyes. Yue didn't attack, and Gaara didn't move. The cross-star pupil met the panda's eye, and he didn't get stuck for a long time. Are you still alive? Shukaku stared strangely at his predecessor, Jinchuriki Column Force. Interesting Academy first release. Gaara nodded and said nothing. Shukaku was depressed. He aimed. How can we say that we have been together for so many years? Can you die if you say a few more words? Forcefully suppressing the feeling of vomiting blood, Shukaku said, Little love, let's discuss something. Gaara said that his name is not Xiao-Ai. Shukaku grinned, what about Ronaldinho? Gaara said he is not called Ronaldinho either. Shukaku is annoying, so let's call you a personal head office, right? Gaara looked at Shukaku and said something that made the civet cat almost change the prince. I'm not called Xiao-Ai, nor Xiao Luo, let alone Xiao-Ai, my name is Gaara. Shukaku vomited blood after hearing that. Did I know that your name is Gaara? Okay, Gaara is Gaara. That Gaara, shall we discuss something? Say. How about you let me out? Shukaku patted his big belly and sprayed yellow sand into the distance. Feeling the tailed beast's control waning, Nagato, the cat in Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, knows he's running out of time. Uzumaki Naruto, who couldn't poop and slam the drum, turned into a Saiyan. 5 minutes, a full 5 minutes of preparation, with the help of Kyubi, 9 tails, the person Jinchuriki Column Force, once again completed the so-called useless ninjutsu. Boss, I am here. You big monsters, listen to the uncle. Your uncle, surnamed Uzumaki, Naruto, is the son of Yellow Flash Namikaze Minato and Bloody Yuhi Pepper Uzumaki Kushina. The responsibility of protecting world peace is handed over to Mila. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Where did this idiot come from? Are those horses painted on his face? There are 2 white strokes on the left, 2 black strokes on the right, and a slag ash in the middle. This face looks like a fool horizontally and a melon vertically. When combined, he looks like a fool. Uzumaki Naruto, will you have a serious time in your life? A staggering almost fell from the top of the blue dragon's head, and the Leomon was completely helpless. It is unreasonable to be super invincible in such a world, and to become a child of destiny. Boss, you all see what I do. Do you all envy me? Do you all admire me, and then all fall in love with me? Love you. Leomon glanced at the shameless man below, who filled his head with water to raise goldfish, wiped his nose and hurried away. People must not compete with mental illness, because they will first pull your IQ as low as theirs, and then use their rich experience to beat you. Naruto is such a thing. Turning the dragon's head and pounced on Shigeki Nanao, Leomon raised his fist against Tailed Beast Bomb. Come on, grandson, brother will give you a free surgical operation. See how inconvenient your 3 pairs of wings are. Can I reduce you to 1 pair? If you don't agree, I'll take it as your agreement. Grabbing the wings with both hands and tearing them apart, Nanao Shigeki, whose wings were pulled, danced the figure dance. Uzumaki Naruto stood under a awning and was thinking about how to get up, when Kong with only 4 tails fell in front of him. Wow, what a big monkey. It has 4 tails, are you 4? Anything with 4 tails and 4 tails, I also have a name, okay. The stinky brat heard it clearly. I am the Monkey King of Shuiliandong, the king of the Monkey King Sun Wukong, who was given the surname Sun by the 6 Paths Immortals. A series of bombardment-like names were sprayed in front of him. Uzumaki Naruto stupidly raised his fingers. Water curtain, monkey hair, fairy monkey, great sage, no space. What's your name? What's my name? Don't I understand? Humph. Humans are really idiots, and they can't even remember a name. They're not as good as apes. Stupid brat, you heard it clearly. My name is Sun Wukong, the great sage of the sky, Sun Wukong. This monkey is so long-winded. Naruto touched his head. This is Chi and Sun's. What's his name? What a mouthful monkey, not cute at all. Stinky brat, did you listen to me? Ah, listen, Chi monkey. Monkey Chi. Isn't it right, the water monkey? Water monkey. Isn't that right? Naruto's eyes. Chi monkey is wrong, and water monkey is not right. Ah, I want to understand. Your name is Sun monkey, right? Not Chi monkey, nor water monkey, is Sun monkey, referred to as Sun Tzu. Quote. Roar. Stinky brat, don't change other people's names. You idiot and retarded, forget it. Anyway, humans are like this. Smart monkeys shouldn't care about idiot humans. Sun Wukong, you are still the same fart monkey. Who dares to tease your grandfather? Your grandfather has not farted for decades. It's me. In Chapter 5, the Cloud continues to work hard, and the next 2 chapters may be delayed. But there will be, believe in the Cloud, credit guarantee, aim. Text Chapter 324_Toad Family Meeting. Dead Fox, I knew that no one would be so boring except you. Heihei168.com, the king of the apes, who claimed to be the Monkey King, plopped down and sat on the ground, begging his ass. QB Ninetails opened his eyelids slightly and said, Fart monkey, don't say you don't know anything. If you didn't find this old man, would you come here? Dead Fox, call me old man in front of me, do you have the qualifications? I am used to farting monkeys. Speaking of which, we haven't seen each other for a long time. Che, whoever wants to see you, a dead fox, knows how to play tricks all day long. It's called IQ. It's impossible for you to catch up with me because of your innate nature. Dead fox, don't talk about those useless things. The king of the fairy ape groaned twice. Quickly think of a way to save the brothers. I can't help it. QB Ninetails glanced at Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, and flipped through the Byakugan. You should know what that is. We're from there. And Hagoromo said, one day in the future, we will have to make a choice. Quote. Do you want to be one again? The king of the apes roared angrily. QB Ninetails is still the same thing that doesn't matter to him and hangs up high. Fart monkey, what are you arguing about? My chakra is only half now. and this kid can't fully play. I want to help you, naturally there is no way. If you don't help me, I'll put you into. Cut. Up a fox claw and showing his middle finger, Hubie Ninetails made no secret of his disdain. Can you beat me? Besides, the bull is not here. What's the use of that thing if it catches me? It's not afraid of blowing up when it is sealed inside. Got it. Damn dead fox, you say help or not? He's dying. Hubie Ninetails pouted and said without looking up, you have to be in such a hurry. We won't be able to get out when he's dead. Only then will we have a chance. Dead fox, don't say you can't see it. So what? Hey, please stop arguing. Sun Monkey, how should I help you? In extreme astonishment, he lowered his head and looked at Naruto's licked smiling face. The King of the Apes was stunned. You said you wanted to help me. Yeah, aren't you and Kurama friends? Naruto said as a matter of course. If a friend is in trouble, of course we should give our all to help. You said you and this dead fox are friends. The King of the Apes pointed at Hubie Ninetails with a frantic laugh. I never admit it. Kurama, hearing Hubie Ninetails' disrespectful words, he jumped up and down. We are all friends, why do you say so? I don't want to have an idiot friend like you. I'm afraid of being infected. Idiot. You think you're smart. Okay, you too, stinky brat, are you really going to help me? Of course. Naruto patted his chest towards the four tails. Tell me what you want to do. For Kurama's sake, I will definitely do it. Dead fox. The two big kiba protruded out of the lips, and the four tails glanced at Hubie Ninetails with some envy, and then looked down at Naruto. Stinky brat, listen carefully, we are all locked up in 10 tails now. In the shell, if you want to let us out, you have to weaken the binding force of this shell when he is about to die. Then what shall I do? Naruto glanced at the huge Geto-Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path. I don't know. What? You said you didn't know. Yuhi with four tails and an old face said, I don't know if there is anything strange. I need to know that I still need to beg this dead fox. Kurama. Don't ask me. I don't know, this kind of troublesome thing be damned. Suddenly realizing that something was wrong, and suddenly stood up, the Hubie Ninetails demon fox let out a terrifying roar. Kurama. It's the guy, yes, I feel it, it's the guy. Who are you talking about? A nasty bastard. He, dead boy, it looks like we're in big trouble this time. What are you talking about? Remember what your father told you, Hubie Ninetails reminded very earnestly, that was when you were born. You mean? Hubie Ninetails nodded gloomily, that's right, that guy, he's here again. I'm going to kill him. The old man also wanted to, but he couldn't. Why? The big enemy was right in front of him, and Naruto was anxious. Kurama, you are not too. Bastard, are you an idiot? He was able to control me back then, so what's the use of letting me out? Then what should I do? Naruto's eyes flashed to Yuhi. Unite. Hubie Ninetails filled his chest with resentment and stretched out his claws. Fusing your chakra with this old man's chakra, the old man will help you wake up your bloodline. It should have allowed you to get used to it for a while, but now don't care about that either. Dead fox, brat, what are you talking about? Four Tails roared twice angrily when Hubie Ninetails and Naruto were thrown aside. Hubie Ninetails rolled his eyes. Fart monkey, we don't have time to answer you now. Dead boy, prepare to open the seal. Door that just opened. Hubie Ninetails, two front paws facing his chest, his pointed ears pointed upwards, his big waving tail slammed on the ground, and his two vertical pupils gleamed coldly. No one wants to control the old man anymore. Remember, dead boy, you only have 5 minutes. Yang Tian let out a roar. Chakra twisted the clouds, and turned his head in astonishment with Neneo's life-threatening Liuman. That's Naruto. Uzumaki Naruto with 9 tails swaying behind him greatly changed. Senju Tsunade. Might Guy. Gaara. Terumi Mei. One by one, they all looked sideways, and the 4th generation Hokage Yui Haoshuan bit his tongue off. Bai, this is the same as Bai. No, it is a more powerful force than Bai. How did this guy from Konoha, Jinchuriki Column Force Kid, do it? Transformed, Kyuubi 9 Tails chakra merged, and Uzumaki Naruto seemed to hear the mourning of all cells in his body. Dead boy, you are in a wrong state, quickly vent chakra out. That Naruto was gradually collapsing, Kyuubi 9 Tails quickly reminded him. Spiritualism. Bang 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 bang. Numerous bangs, Uzumaki Naruto, who almost summoned all the famous toads from Mount Myoboku, held a festive concert around him. The 3 toad brothers who have just been bandaged, the immortal Shima Fukasaku who is ready to eat, the toad power who can't tell the gender of the lip boss, the toad loyal with a necklace around his neck, and the best friend Toji. Seeing these toads, Liamong's head turned into 2 big ones. Is this kid ready to do the magic horse? More 6. There are 4 chapters. The cloud continues to work hard. Text chapter 325_sudden change. Uzumaki Naruto. Quack, 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 quack. Extremely angry, Toad's words were repeated. Toad Wentai, Toji and his son, Toji-en, Toad Hero, and Shima Fukazuo Toad and his wife, all looked at Naruto with fire in their eyes. Being stared at by these old toads, Naruto, who laughed twice, scratched his head. I'm sorry, I'm really sorry, I accidentally called too many. Accidentally summoned too many. Well, if you are not careful, I will let you be careless, right? The children obey the orders. Go up and beat him up for Lao Su. Yes, boss. Naruto, who responded in unison like underworld gangsters and turned the fire, turned to look at Fukasaku, understood why Wenta was so virtuous. The 2 couples, Shima Fukasaku, are simply the reincarnation of a chartered public servant and a chartered wife. 2. He is not aiming at people. No, they were not human at all. It should be said that they are not toads. Daddy. Fuck the kid. How do you deal with this kid? The toads roared in unison. Listen to the boss. Shenzuo waved his small paw. Put him. Let's go back to the mountain after we're done. Yes, boss. Countless toad legs descended from the sky, thumping and stomping on, and the army of toads who finished stepping stood behind Shima Fukasaku and closed their shadows, coming and going in a hurry. Spartan's Liamong grabbed a 7-tailed elytra in one hand, and really wanted to jump down and kill this kid. Don't be stunned, get rid of these guys quickly. Senju Tsunade, who had untied the yin seal, was panting as he slammed the 5 tails into the air. With the cooperation of the tailed beasts, the 4 shadows, who had done their best, gradually took the initiative. HeyHey168.com. Stinky brat, why don't you hurry up and help? Fart monkey, it's not that we won't help you, it's that we can't help now. Go of all attention and alertness, Kyuubi 9 Tails and Naruto suddenly turn around and head southeast. They seem to have spotted you. It doesn't matter, I'm about to go there anyway. The illusory body appeared above the head of the psychic golem with the swirling vortex, and the half-running Kyuubi 9 Tails stabbed and dragged 2 smoke dragons. Turning around slowly, murderous intent surged in Yuhi's eyes. It's that guy. Kill him. Is this the murderer who killed father and mother? Take your life. With his feet dashing forward, he dashed forward along the rigid outsider demon, and Uzumaki Naruto's sharp arrow rushed towards the top of the golem's head. Seeing Ah-Fei's appearance, Liamong tore off the last wing of Nanwei. Everyone turned their heads. Ah-Fei lowered his head, and Naruto, who was running wildly, suddenly fell into the tiger's mouth. Did this idiot get his head kicked by a donkey? Quickly get rid of these tailed beasts, and take the opportunity to cut that thing. With several big moves in a row, the tailed beast that wanted to break free was knocked flying, and Lu Meng and others came to the foot of the golem. Looking at the golem that is shocking enough from a distance, wait until the feet are good. Even the tallest 4th generation Hokage does not have a small toe. How to deal with this thing? Such a big guy, even if he stood still and let him cut him, he didn't know when he had to cut him. What do you do when you talk so much? How can you know if you don't fight? Thunder abuse level Chio dance. High with the handmade knife, the fourth generation Hokage snarled and chopped down the handmade knife, which seemed to be extremely lethal. But looking up, that's not the case. For such a huge monster, it makes no difference whether or not such a wound exists. Bastard. There's no way around this. I'll try it. Hokage didn't work. Mizukage appeared. Terumi gently opened Yuhi's lips and spat out a large amount of dark green mucus. Yoden, lava style, the art of dissolving monsters. The blood of the combination of the chakra of the earth and water continued to fall to the wound that was cut just now, and white smoke rose up. It looks fierce, but the actual effect is not obvious. Relying on this kind of corrosive power to kill the outer golem, it will take almost 100 years. What shall we do? Hokage can't do it, Mizukage can't do it either. I didn't try it because I liked it so much. What about Tsunade Haim? Looking up at the giant demon, and then looking down at his own little fist, the beautiful legendary fat sheik turned Byakugan. Who is coming? Chishishua's eyes fell on him, and Liuman was helpless. Why should you leave such troublesome things to me? One more time, last time that thing. Fourth Hokage pointed upwards at the broken arm of Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, and everyone's eyes lit up. Liamong looked left at this, right at that, and stretched out his right hand in front of Tsunade. Do you see that I'm still capable of launching an attack like that? No, this kind of injury takes at least 3 days. Tsunade double-checked and frowned. You can't either. Fourth Hokage looked at the eye golem in annoyance, and slammed 2 more punches in annoyance. Losing the ability to kill with one hit, he shrugged his shoulders, and Liuman took a closer look curiously, and touched the juice overflowing from Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, some sticky, some cool, some... ... Little friend, what's wrong with you? Asshole boy. Is this guy stupid? The dark space lit up with 2 candles from afar, and the flowing light in front of him blinked subconsciously. Where is this? Silently looked around, except for the candlelight in the distance, there was nothing. Nothing but black. Would you like to go take a look? The thought that suddenly arises can no longer be suppressed. Although I know that it may be a trap, compared with the darkness around me, those 2 points of light are undoubtedly more worth pursuing. 1 step, 2 steps, the faster and faster footsteps finally turned into running. Liamong kept running, and at the end only left running. Why run? I don't know. The only remaining thoughts control the body to run wildly. Maybe one day, maybe 1 year, Liamong finally came to the candlelight. These are 2 very ordinary wooden candlesticks. What is unusual is the weird patterns all over the candlesticks. The 4 rings are set together, 1 ring and the other occupying a 10-meter radius, which is exactly the brightest range that the candle light can illuminate. Liamong took 2 steps forward curiously, and suddenly realized that something was wrong. What was the thing under his feet? Looking down with the help of candlelight, an image that shocked him came into his eyes. 7 and 3 chapters. The cloud will update the book first, then go back and update the volume. No matter what time it ends. Brothers and sisters who are interested in The Rise of the Infinite Manga Fat Man, come and have a look. Text Chapter 326_First Sealed Land. This is Tomo. The innermost hexagon of the 4 ring is hexagonal, and the 6 vacancies are filled with 4 Tomo, and there is a little gap in the middle of each Tomo. Baidu Interesting Academy. This damn place. This is the place of the original seal. The sudden sound came to his ears, and Liamong, who suddenly turned his head, saw 7 phantoms surrounding him. You're like this. It's so funny. Are you here to sell yin? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 little tailed beasts playing with sweaters, and the big body outside has become so short here, which is shocking and speechless. Hey, stinky boy, what kind of eyes are you looking at? Okay, we don't have time to waste citing. Turning his head and glancing at the seven-tailed Jinchuriki column force, Shukaku patted his big belly and said, "Human boy, how about we make a deal? Trade." Shukaku stared at Liamong and said, "You let us out, and we forgive you for the mistakes you made earlier." "Is there anything I need your forgiveness?" Lu Meng scratched his ears casually. Was provoked. "You bastard human stinky boy, you scatter my 6 wings, how dare you say that you are not wrong? We were beaten a lot too. You have to make up for us." The seven-tailed beast repeatedly accused the two-tailed cat. "If we hadn't squeezed our chakra with all our strength, do you think you can still live to this day? Come on, you have to ask for something in court." The interesting academy said, "What do you want to do?" Liamong continued to pick up his ears one by one, and then he picked up the left side and the right side. "Angry, bastard human stinky boy, what is your attitude? Why are you so angry?" Liamong blew his fingers after picking out his ears. "If you have something to say, you have to tell me where this place is. Didn't I just say, this is the place of the original seal?" Shukaku rolled his eyes angrily, and the civet cat made of sand licked its big belly. Lu Meng frowned suspiciously, not quite understanding what it meant. The two-tailed cat took over the words again. "This is the spiritual sea of 10 tails, and the place we are staying now is the magic circle left by the old man when he divided the spiritual body." "The old man you said was Otsutsuki Hagoromo." The cat stared at Liamong with playful eyes. "Isn't it shocking that you call him the Six Paths Fairy?" "I'm not a ninja, I'm shocked. What do you mean by these things? What a nasty human kid. I think we got it wrong. Compared to this guy, the one from the dead fox seems to be more reliable." "Fart monkey, I don't have time to talk about this right now. Human boy, listen carefully, we'll only talk about it once." He lowered his head and stared at Liamong, and the two-tailed cat glanced again. "The old man stole the holy tree's holy tree. The fruit was born, and the old man was born, which is what you call 6 paths. The holy tree who was stole the fruit was angry and wanted to find the stolen child and turned into a monster, which is what we call 10 tails." Quote. Shukaku sighed. "The old man defeated 10 tails with the power of the fruit and sealed it in his body, and later split 10 tails into us when he was about to die. That is, the 9-tailed beast. Now someone wants to reintegrate us back. You know what that means. I'll go to hell with those things." Lu Meng looked around impatiently. "Tell me how to get out of this hellish place. You can't go unless you can help us. Threat me." Liamong became angry, his eyes flashing ruthless. The 4-tailed fairy ape burst into flames. "This is not a threat. Since you have entered the first place, you will naturally have to take on this mission. This is what the old man predicted earlier. 6 paths again. The old man said that no matter where we are scattered, we will eventually become one again. We didn't believe it at the time, and we fought often for this reason, and finally we simply walked away from the other side. It's gone." The cat licked its paws again and squinted. "The old man said that when something happens, someone will guide us. That person is me." Liamong felt that the world made a big joke with him. Why did such trouble fall on him? The 7-tailed beast was suddenly silent, and after a while, the 4-tailed opened the mouth and said, "We don't know if you are that person, but we see hope in you. Let us go out, or you won't even think about playing 10 tails." Shukaku's eyes flashed a savage look. "We are still merging against distance, and the dead fox and octopus haven't been caught. Once all the tailed beasts gather, the 10 tails will come back to life when someone comes here to gather us, and we must carry out that mission too." Quote. "What are you going to do? Take back your own children and devour all the descendants of the 6 paths immortals? Then you can do it. The matter is already hanging high, and Liamong doesn't think that such a thing needs to be worried about." The 7-tailed beast was annoyed. "Do you think things would be so simple? The things the old man did has completely angered the holy tree. After taking back his child, he will take revenge on the entire human race. In other words, destroy the world. We don't know if the people who want to integrate us have this power. But we know that if everyone really gives up self-selected integration, it will definitely be much stronger than before. Come out. Seven-tailed beasts and 6 people, Jinchuriki column, except for the girl who spoke first, the girl with blue hair, green hair and tan skin, and 5 more came out. Liamong also saw an acquaintance inside. Yu Gao. And spitting out 2 bubbles as a chair, Jinchuriki column forcefully raised his eyelids. The human heart is very complicated, and our minds are even more complicated. The original 10 tails were very simple in purpose. Clear. But now it's different. After all these years of division, each tailed beast has its own mind, and with the rest of us, we can imagine what the fusion monster will become. Is it something to do with me? Yes and no. Shukaku glanced angrily. Say yes, and the 10 tails may kill you and all the people you hold dear. Say no, such a thing won't necessarily happen. After all, we can't be sure. How strong is the guy who plotted this thing? However, he is definitely not as good as the old man. Aha, what do you guys want to do with such a big nonsense? Tell me, I'm in a hurry. I woke up late in the morning, the cloud worked hard, and at the beginning of the month, it broke out and asked for support. Brothers and sisters, if you have a vote, please cast your vote. Thank you in advance. Text chapter 327_ Who Fooled the Beast's Entrustment. Conclude a psychic contract, and when the guy outside is dying, psychic us out in one breath. Puff. A mouthful of old blood spat out half a meter. Liamong took out 2 balls from his bag and threw them to Shukaku and Maoyu. Good boy, go home and play balls. Asshole. What do you mean? Please, first of all, I'm not a ninja, and the contract may not work. Second, do I have that much energy? Reach out and tap the 7-tailed beasts one by one, and they are so happy. How do these guys have long heads? How much energy does it take to come up with such bizarre ideas and channel them out in one breath? You are tailed beasts, although not the strongest, but the number is there. 7 spirits in one breath, he aimed. Do you think Lao Su is an immortal? You can. His claws, he rubbed the ball that rolled under his feet, and the Shukaku cat fell in love with it all at once. You roll, I roll, you roll again, I roll again. The heads of the 5-tailed beasts next to them saw black lines from sweat, as if 3,000 crows were croaking. Goo roll, goo roll, goo roll. You 2 fools really think of themselves as cats. Bang, bang, 2 muffled balls exploded in a row, and the cat, Shukaku, raised his head and looked at the 4 tails, who were stingy, and rushed towards him. Fart monkey, you rotten monkey, always so annoying. Flatten him, fuck him, beat him to death. You 2 stupid cats are really brain damaged, not even as good as apes. One paw held the other and cursed, and the 4 tails threw 1 and 2 out. The cat on all 4s said angrily, we won't catch up with you, you dead monkey who likes to fart, who couldn't move his legs when he saw bananas. I'll see that bananas can't move their legs. That's better than the 2 of you pissing and playing with mud. HeyHey168.com. Aim, who do you mean to pee and play with mud? These 3 idiots. Cats and monkeys are really unreliable things. The cat is a traitor, the monkey is a slut, it's better to be like me. Naneo Shigeki was lying on the ground, feeling good about himself. His answer was a row of raised middle fingers. Spartans livid stood beside him for a long time, running through thousands of grass and mud horses in his heart. Sign the contract. 7 claws slapped in front of him, and the 7-tailed animal hair that had been hit enough also stabbed, and his butt was pouted, either his mouth was crooked, or his eyes were slanted. He looked at these big guys absent-mindedly, and there was a thundercloud and lightning in his head. Is it safe to sign a contract with them? Human boy, the above matters will be solved by a dead fox. After you go out for a while, be sure to check the time, and be sure to activate the psychic when the guy is the weakest. It won't work if it's too early, it won't work if it's too late, we won't be able to go out early. It will also cause the seal to bounce back and lose the chance. If it's too late, that guy dies and we'll go back to the moon, you understand. It's so long-winded, just say something like this once. Raising his right hand and pressing the seven-tailed beast together, Liamong suddenly felt an unstoppable energy rushing in. Don't resist, this is our chakra. Human boy, don't forget to buy us 2 more balls in the future. Idiot silly cat, you all know balls, bananas are the real good thing. The 4-tailed ape licked its monkey face and put it in front of Liamong. Can you buy me 2,000 bunches of bananas? Fart monkey, what do you want so many bananas for, Zwei? Asshole. Okay you 3, human boy, remember our names. 5 Tails sang loudly and stopped the noise, looking at Liamong seriously. My name is King Mew. My name is Han. The tall man wearing a Yuhi-colored hat, Yuhi-colored armor, and a smoking reed on his back waved. 5 Tails and his people Jinchuiki column force just finished introducing. Other tailed beasts also appeared. I'm the lucky number 7 Chongming. My sister's name is Fu. Feather High. Rhinoceros. Isota. Korea. What? Killed at such a young age. Boy, I sympathize with you. Hearing the introduction of the 4th generation of Mizukage, Liamong couldn't help but burst into laughter. This kid is so capable, not only is he short, but he is also leaning on crutches. Damn, don't think I'm a child, I'm an adult. Well, you're an adult. He reached out and touched Mizukage's head, and glanced at the flowered walking stick behind Mizukage. If you say that you are an adult, who would believe it? Don't touch my head, the president is not tall. Do you still want to grow taller? Quack, 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 countless crows flew across the sky. Liamong and a group of beasts all turned over with laughter. Don't laugh, don't laugh. Don't laugh, well, we don't laugh, we don't laugh. Ha 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 ha. Patting his round belly, Shukaku sat on the ground with a smile. You know the name of this uncle, I won't say it. Aim, my name is Yulu. Niyugito, go out and speak to Reikage for me, I will avenge him in my next life. Chest that was beaten, the 2-tailed Jinchuriki column folded his arms. Dot 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 dot. The only king of the apes who didn't express his position thought about it and said, my name is Sun Wukong, and the stubborn old man above his head is called Lao Zi. Without raising his head or opening his eyes, the old man who was sitting like a Buddha nodded his head, as if he didn't even bother to speak. Introducing their names, the 7-tailed beasts and 6 people, Jinchuriki column, stood in a circle and signed the contract. How am I going to get out? After signing the contract, Lu Mang, who felt fooled, asked the most crucial question. Shukaku overturned him in one sentence, extinguish those 2 waxes. It's that simple. Liamong opened his mouth in disbelief. Shukaku nodded with a smile, it's that simple. I rely on your sister, me, who said it was difficult to leave. Compared to snuffing out the candle with 2 middle fingers, the speechless Liuman left the original place with a big bag full of foreheads. Seeing Liamong leave, the 7-tailed beasts all fell silent. Will we succeed this time? Shukaku asked his companion in confusion, patting his big belly. It's better to fail than to do nothing at all. You're right, we always have to fight. Sanwei agreed with Erwei's words very much. Siwei raised his head and looked overhead. I still think the dead fox's side is more reliable. But we don't have time and it's up to him now. Open your eyes. 7 should be updated today, and there will be an outbreak at the beginning of the month. Text chapter 328-10 is a little more, 3 is a little less. When I opened my eyes, I saw heaven. Mobile reading is more convenient. m.heihei168.com. Little friend, what's wrong with you? Terumi Mei shouted nervously, and Senju Tsunade also came over. Seeing the concerned eyes of the 2 women, Liamong smiled happily, and the depression calculated by the tail beast was swept away. 2 sisters, now is not the time to talk, let's step back quickly. Have you found a way to deal with it? 4th Reikage turned his head upon hearing this. Liamong smiled and shrugged, there is a way, but the main force of this way is not mine. Naruto, whether you can solve this thing depends on your mouth. Senior brother, you're dead, you can't live if you don't die. In Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, mouth, Uzumaki Naruto hugged Nagato with snot and tears. Nagato was not happy when he heard this. Why do I have to die? Naruto said, Senior brother, 227, that's how the script was written, it's too late if this episode doesn't die. Nagato pushed Naruto angrily, why do I have to die? I think I can persevere. Senior brother, you can't hold on any longer. Naruto cried and hugged Nagato's thigh, you look like this, how can you keep it going? Nagato patted Naruto's head with the back of the pole plugged into the wire. It is precisely because I am like this that I have to insist. Little junior brother, as a senior brother, let me tell you, in this life, if you can't live forever, you will also stink eternal. Otherwise he will be dead. Naruto was excited after hearing this. Senior brother, do you still want to live forever? For world peace. Naruto cried, rushing, Senior brother, you don't want to play like this, let's discuss it, you can die quickly. Nagato shook his head resolutely and said, no. I can't help it. Naruto collapsed, Senior brother, you can't die if you don't die. If you don't die, how will the director see you, the audience will see you, the readers will see you, and the big guys will see you, at this time. You must die. Baidu Interesting Academy. Have to die? Nagato asked, leaning over his head. I must die. Naruto nodded fiercely. Nagato's mouth crooked, then you will die for me once. I'll die for you once. Naruto pointed to himself. Nagato graciously said, you die for me once. Is there a substitute for death? Naruto suddenly raised the tone. Nagato said, don't you want to be so excited? I'm not excited. It's okay not to get excited, Naruto. Senior brother, if you have something to say, as long as you don't let me die for you, you can do anything. Do anything, Nagato confirmed. Naruto nodded, you can do anything. Nagato leaned over and said, look, our surname is Uzumaki. Yes, Naruto nodded, our last name is Uzumaki. Nagato added, we both have no father or mother since we were young. Naruto continued to nod, well, yes, we both grew up with no father or mother. Nagato then said, we are both Jiraiya's apprentices. Naruto said yes, we are both apprentices taught by that scumbag. Nagato sighed and turned back his words, you see that we are so similar, you can't die for senior brother once. Death once. Naruto looked up at Nagato, who was hugging him, senior brother, this can't be done. Why can't you do it? You see that we have the same experience. You let your senior brother enjoy it, and you die for senior brother once. Naruto shook his head, this can't be done. This can be done. It really doesn't work. Really not. Not really. Nagato's anger surged up and pressed Naruto's shoulder. I said little brother, why are you so stubborn? Our two brothers are both Uzumaki, and you even die for your brother once. Can't you? Naruto was about to be tortured by Nagato and cried, senior brother, it's not that I won't do it for you, he really can't do it for you. No, 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 no. Nagato's face darkened after a series of incomprehensible words. Little junior brother, are you looking down on senior brother or what? If you feel that you will suffer by dying for senior brother gave you the Akatsuki leader. Leading the leader of Akatsuki to me. Naruto's eyes narrowed. Nagato nodded, yes, Chief Akatsuki will give it to you. Is this true, brother? Naruto was excited. It's true, as long as you die for me once. Die for you. Naruto hesitated. Yes, die for me once. Naruto hesitated for a moment, why? Come, you sit here. Yes, this is it. Nagato said as he pulled Naruto onto the chair. The bottom of his butt was cold, and Naruto twisted uncomfortably. Nagato said don't move, it's not over yet, you wait for senior brother to process it for you. And processing. Naruto was surprised. Nagato said don't be nervous, just plug in 2 wires. Plug in the wire. Naruto jumped up at once, Plug in the wire. Can't plug in the wire. Plug in the wire on the head, so it's not a lightning rod. If a lightning strikes, it won't be all bad. Nagato said that you won't be struck by lightning when you plug in the wires. You see, my brother plugged in so much, and he didn't get struck by lightning, right? If you feel pain, plug in less. Less plug. Less interruptions. Then can you see one? Naruto raised a finger with difficulty. Nagato looked at him. One is a little short. Those two. Naruto raised another one. Two will do. Two is not enough. Those three are enough. Naruto gestured for three. Nagato's face swayed. I'm not telling you, little junior brother, you can't add one by one, at least 10. No. Naruto looked at the wires in Nagato's hands and shook his head. 10 is too many. The 8. Nagato dropped 2. Naruto still quit. 8 more. Then how many did you say? Nagato was annoyed. Naruto thought about making a gesture of 5, brother, 5, split in half, not 3 or 4, no 3 or 4, let's make a 5. Okay, you sit down, senior brother will plug it in for you. Put it in. Don't shiver. I'm not shivering. Why are you shaking when you're not shaking? I'm shaking, I'm not shaking. Naruto swayed left and right. Nagato said angrily, why are you shaking without shaking? I'm shaking, I'm shaking. Sit down. Nagato pressed Naruto onto the chair, and before Naruto could react, he stabbed him with a wire. Ah, brother, you stabbed too much. Third, continue to work hard in the cloud, brothers and sisters, come on, may Mother Earth fool you. Text chapter 329 _ God opened his eyes. A wire stabbed in the back, so that the sky was overturned. Hey168.com. The furious Naruto looked at Nagato sadly, his face twitched and his eyes slanted. Senior brother, you are really my brother. Come on, try to control 6 paths. Nagato said as he summoned 6 paths. Naruto's eyes lit up. Control 6 paths, how to control it? You put your hand in that tube first, and then put your leg under it. Senior brother, there won't be any danger, right? Naruto sat on the chair and looked at this weird thing. No matter how he looked at it, he didn't feel safe. Nagato clicked his tongue. Can senior brother still cheat on you? You have been pitting me a lot. It's definitely not a pit this time. It's really not a pit. Hurry up. With both hands and feet in place, he shook the stick, and when Naruto was seated, Nagato explained to him, you have to do this again. Senior brother can't do it. Naruto called out Nagato after 2 attempts didn't work. Nagato looked at him and said that your eyes are wrong, so you have to buckle it down and change it. When Naruto heard this, he quit. Change your eyes. Don't change them, you can't change your eyes at will. Nagato was annoyed. If someone wants to change me, why don't I change it with him? Then you can find someone else to change it. I won't change it anyway. Really not. I won't change if you kill me. Don't change it. Don't change it. You try to control this. This is different from those. Nagato said and pushed Shira Road. This guy was a puppet in his lifetime. He didn't need eyes very much. Try it. Hey, this can move. This thing can move. Is it fun? Nagato asked when he saw Naruto driving the Shira Road. Naruto said, fun. Can you play? We'll play. Have you never played before? Senior brother, what did you say? Naruto was embarrassed by Nagato. Mobile reading is more convenient. m.hey168.com. Don't say anything, just die for me now. Is this going to die for you? Naruto glanced at Nagato. Yes, right away, I will hand seal. What's the matter? You can die. Why? Naruto was unhappy when he heard that his death was so happy. Nagato said, this means that your brother is in the interests of you. Are you interested? Yes, I'm interested. You're ready, we'll start right away. Wait. After Nagato said he was about to start, Naruto-kun smiled and wiped his nose. is there no line or something? Lines, do you want lines? Naruto didn't want to. I'm going to die for you, you can't let me say 2 lines. Nagato said okay, what lines you want to say, you can say it. Naruto excitedly said, then senior, wait, I'll make 2 poses first. Do you want to pose? Nagato was completely speechless. Naruto raised his neck, that's right, we can't die in vain. We have to show up anyway. Are you still showing up like this? It's hard to get on the pit, but it's still appearing. Senior brother, I'm lit. You're bright. As soon as I light up, you go up. Good. I see it. This little brother is really ink. It's started. Go away quickly. I made a first appearance, folded my chest, raised my head, raised my arms. Since you ask the question sincerely, I will tell you with great compassion. In order to prevent the world from being destroyed, to protect the peace of the world, to carry out love and real evil, cute and charming villain, I am the boss of Akatsuki who is active in the ninja world. Beidong, white tomorrow is waiting for us, that's it. Senior brother, come on stage. Are these all god horses? Hey, senior brother, you ran back, here, come on. Naruto beckoned to Nagato who wanted to run away. Nagato looked back, okay. Up, I'm up. Senior brother, is it you who brought me here? Seeing Nagato play, Naruto asked a question that he wanted to ask a long time ago, but never had a chance to ask. Nagato's waist is straight. For the peace of the world and the well-being of the suffering people, the organization needs your dedication. What does the organization need from me? Your life. Nagato spit out 3 words coldly. Naruto was shocked. You want my life? When you die, the world is at peace. Senior brother, are you deceiving ghosts? If I die, will the world be at peace? You're almost dead. Nagato said, Naruto, you have to believe. 1 Uzumaki Naruto fell, and thousands of Uzumaki Naruto stood up. Naruto was extremely speechless. Senior brother, are you sure it's me you're talking about? It's you, Naruto. Ready, I want the hand seal. As soon as I end, you will die. Okay, brother, let's tie it up. I'm done. Snapped. Nagato made a handprint as he spoke, and Naruto fell down. Sudden pass. Half a second has elapsed. Nagato said it was wrong. What's wrong? Naruto, who fell down, got up again. Nagato looked at him and said, Junior brother, you are acting like this. Do you know how to do Rinne Tensai, Samsara of Heavenly Life? First time hearing this name. Do you want to learn? It's in the old interest. Naruto CC Kiba, what is the law of interest? Nagato said mysteriously, this technique is unusual, he can resurrect the dead. Really? If you don't believe me, you can try it out. If you don't know it, you'll know. Senior brother, can you revive 3 generations of old men with this technique? What did he do to resurrect him? Nagato was very strange. Naruto folded his hands and slammed his head twice. I have a question to ask him. What's the problem? The old guy took our master's hand before he died and said, Jiraiya, after I die, Konoha will be handed over to you. Our master told him, you can rest assured to die. I can't worry about it, I'm afraid that if I die, my old brothers won't listen to you. Our master said, don't worry, old man, if they don't listen to me, I will let them go with you. Now that our master is dead, and 2 of those old guys are still alive, I just want to ask if I can let them die together. Okay, then I'll teach you. Brother, you are so kind. The art of Rinne Tensai, Samsara of Heavenly Life, it looks like this. Nagato talked for a long time, and Naruto fainted for a long time. Senior brother, can you repeat it? I don't understand it. Nagato looked at Naruto, okay, I'll say it again. Once again. 3 times. 5 times. 50 times. Naruto was very embarrassed when he looked at Nagato's broken mouth. Senior brother, I'm a stupid person, or you can demonstrate it to me, and I'll be able to demonstrate it once. Nagato, who was tortured and mad by Naruto, sat back in the chair and slapped his fingerprints. The Art of Rinne Tensei, Samsara of Heavenly Life. God, open your eyes. Chapter 4, Continue to work hard. Text Chapter 330 _ God is blind again. Grandpa. Konkuro. It's now. Ha ha ha, this uncle is out again, aim. It feels so good to see the sunshine again. Hey168.com. You two dead cats stay away from me, the Monkey King of Shuiliandong is here. Cats and monkeys are really unreliable things. 7 bangs in a row, 7 giant beasts in a row, watching Liamong's summoning technique, all the ninjas were Spartans. Senju Tsunade, Terumi Mei, the 4th generation Raikage, Might Guy, together with the newly resurrected 3rd generation Tsuchikage 2-day scale Onoki all launched the stay. Gaara turned the corner of her eyes to look at Yi Tai, and turned her gaze to Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path. King Yama opened his eyes, and from his huge mouth, countless balls of light flew towards the corpse. No matter how broken the corpse was, the corpse stood up anew in the violent collapse. 327 opened his eyes, and the world became more beautiful. Little junior brother, the piece of the world will be handed over to you. Thousands of paper cranes fluttering, one by one, year after year. Nagato, let's go home. The hula flying paper wraps his body, and Conan sheds blood and tears in sadness. Just as he was about to leave, a figure suddenly appeared beside him. Nagato. Lend your friend to use it. The Uzumaki-shaped mask disappeared in the eddy current, and Uzumaki Nagato was also missing. Brothers, get rid of this thing. Tailed Beast Bomb 7. The sand-shaped raccoon, the big black cat with pointed ears, the 3-tailed turtle, the 4-tailed ape, the 5-tailed red deer, the 6-tailed slug, and the 7-tailed giant insect all opened their mouths. Interesting academy. In the roar, the 7-tailed beast bombs joined together as if kneading dough, forming an incomparably huge ball of light. Blast it. Even if it can't be destroyed, let it be restored in a short time, so we don't want to become 10 tails. God, what the hell is that? One of the newly resurrected ninjas lost his jaw in shock, and his eyes were all over the floor. Such a battle, why should we pull us? Selling high, I'm just an ordinary ninja, I was only promoted to Jonin in my 20s, I'm not a genius, and I'm not an elite, I'm just an ordinary man, an insignificant existence. I should wash and sleep. Countless grass and mud horses rushed to my heart, endless crows hovered above their heads, and the ninja warriors swallowed their saliva and stepped back. Sudden. The X7-tailed beast bomb has launched. Will it work? The giant light Jinchuriki column shot out with a rumble, slammed straight into the chest of Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path. Just when the big guy opened his eyes wide and wanted to observe the result, the monster that spoiled Joss suddenly disappeared. Aim. It's all your fault, you shot too slowly. Tailed beast bomb failed, Shukaku took the lead in attacking his comrades. The tailed beasts, who were also in a bad mood, looked at him, and all roared. Bitch cat, don't just talk about us, how can you be better? That's right, this bitch just needs to be beaten. Brothers flatten him. When he was born, this guy likes to lift other people's tails, and this time we will lift him too. The farce from his childhood appeared in front of his eyes, and the king of fairy apes stared at the tail with bad intentions. Shukaku was horrified. Mao. What do you want to do to this uncle? Don't bully the cat, Mei. Chongming, grab it, don't let it run away. The tailed beasts that rushed over, one after another, were stacked on top of each other, and were pressed against the bottom tail, crying father and mother, slapped with both palms. Boom, boom, bang bang bang. Bully the cat, you all bully the cat. Do you still dare? Don't dare. Aren't you still being rude? No more. Then you say you need to clean up. No, I don't owe. Late. Brothers beat him. Sanwei, I'll take my right leg. 4 tails, I lift my tail. 5 tails, then I will come to the one on the left. 2 tails and 7 tails, I left it to us. Stretching arms, legs and tails, and making twists with big cheeks, are they doing magic horses? I don't know either. Hearing Senju Tsunade's question, a black line appeared on Liamong's forehead. After a violent beating to vent his grievances, the 7-tailed beasts aimed their eyes at the crowd. The ninja warriors are all nervous. These 7 monsters are not easy to deal with. Don't look at them now that they are recovering as before, and even the dark wounds on their bodies are fully recovered. But if they want to fight these 7 monsters, they are also going to the toilet to fight. Lantern, there is no discussion about courting death. Who got them out? What the hell is going on here? That's the tailed beast of our village, didn't it defect? Countless questions and shocks came to mind, and just when the ninja warriors didn't know what to do, Lu Meng walked out of the crowd. Human boy, thank you this time. But it's best not to call us in the future. Staring at him with big eyes one after another, Shukaku with a blooming face said viciously, although we have a contract, don't try to control us. We've been tired all these years, it's time to find a place to rest, don't come again. Spare us, or you know the consequences. Che, do you think I despise you? Hearing Shukaku's unfriendly threat, Liamong pressed his middle finger, if you have to go, go quickly, don't let anyone catch you. They are all big, and they are still here in a day. Being chased all over the world at night, you are not ashamed, I am still ashamed. Quote. Damn human boy. The middle fingers were raised one by one, and the king of the fairy ape was compared to 4, and even his feet were raised. What are you looking at? I made gestures for the brothers. Didn't you see that many of them have no hands? After gesturing and patting his butt with his middle finger, the king of apes finally glanced at Liamong and turned to go. In the sky, Conan excitedly put Naruto down. Watch out Madara, he took Nagato away. What? Nagato was taken away. The shocking news hit his heart, and Liamong's head instantly grew bigger. Things are big, and things are going to be big now. Why Ah-Fei took Nagato, the fool knows. Rinnegan, how long does it take for him to transfer Rinnegan? Thinking of Pervert's ability, Liuman suddenly felt a thunderous explosion above his head. 7-tailed beast, you look at me, I look at you, and you want to run away when you throw a duck. The sky was snowing, and a figure came out of the large snowflakes. The first update, brothers and sisters, come on together and make the list tonight. There will be more updates after midnight, and those who have tickets hope to support them. Text Chapter 331 _ the longer you live, the more insane the better. Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path. The drama that rumbled to the ground again opened its mouth wide, and before the 7-tailed beast woke up from the shock, it was bound by the chain that was shot out of its neck. Mobile reading is more convenient. m.heihei168.com. Damn, what have you done to us? Chakra, which is difficult to mobilize, stagnates as the chains become tighter and tighter, and the tailed beasts roar with tears in their eyes. Stop him. There is no need for Liamong to shout, and everyone who wakes up also knows what the result of letting the tailed beast be mastered by the other party again at this time. Jinten particle style, split detachment of the primitive world technique. After the wounds of old age were fully healed in Rinne Tensai, Samsara of heavenly life, the 2-day scale Onoki was old and strong. Without back pain, who can stop my terrifying Onoki? Let you see the interests of this old man. Big Yuhi raised his nose, his round eyes protruded, and the boxy enchantment covered his whole body. The guy who hides his head and shows his tail, let the old man die. Ping! With a crisp sound, the barrier collapsed, and before everyone was happy, Onoki was kicked and flew out. The high raised feet slowly dropped, and the Sharingan, who was exposed outside, spun rapidly. Something is not right. Be able to channel Gedo Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, must have Rinnegan. Is it hidden under the mask? The narrowed eyes flashed a trace of doubt, and the chaotic flow of the plot was also unclear. What the hell is this guy doing on behalf of the soil? Hey, that guy above, what about you, what do you do? Little face stinks and raises his head, Uzumaki Naruto asks off-face strangely. Daidu didn't pay any attention to this idiot. Today I just want to take back these prey. You'd better not get in my way. Baidu Interesting Academy. Bastard, you can't take the tailed beast away again, and cut off those chains. Thunder Abuse Level Chio Dance. The whole body turned into lightning and raised his right arm. Raikage's eyes widened suddenly. Passed through, actually passed through. Who are you? What are these chains? I am Uchiha Madara. The name like Judian Shinlei shocked all directions, except for Liamong, who had already known it. Everyone else was horrified. Uchiha Madara. Are you Uchiha Madara? Don't make futile attacks, your abilities can't hurt those chains. I accept the seven-tailed beasts. The humanoid drama with a height of hundreds of meters bent down on the pole, and two big palms caught the tailed beast like a rabbit. One tail, two tails, five tails, seven tails, one-tailed beast after another, just stuffed it into the mouth in public. The fourth generation of Raikage did not move. 3 generations of Tsuchikage did not move. The rest didn't move. It's not that I don't want to, but it's meaningless. The biggest threat right now is not that giant, but this little guy in front of me. He really Uchiha Madara. It's unimaginable that an old monster like you can still be alive. What do you want to do? The old man Tsuchikage slapped his hands behind his back. Jinten particle style failed. He had lost his one-hit ultimate move. The Eye of the Moon Project. The illusory figure suddenly disappeared and reappeared next to the rocks not far away, and the counterfeit cargo came down on its knees. Don't be impulsive, first listen to what he has to say. Out of the corner of his eyes, he stopped the 4th generation Raikage who wanted to do it, and the 3rd generation Tsuchikage turned his attention to the rocks. Liamong yawned boredly, took out the banknotes and counted them. Sleep until you wake up naturally, count money until your hands cramp. Without these dying mental illnesses, he should be able to live this kind of life, right? 2. 151, 2520, 3530, look at this money, how could my brother have the opportunity to get this old money before? Money, it's a good thing. This idiot. He's more brainless than Naruto. What is the Eye of the Moon? With your strength, you shouldn't need such trouble, right? Onoki glanced at Liamong, and turned his eyes to the masked man who claimed to be Madara. If it is really Uchiha Madara, one person is enough to sweep the entire ninja world. This is not a joke, but the truth. I was badly wounded in the battle with Hashirama, my strength was weakened to the bottom, and now it's just an empty shell. You want to regain your strength. Onoki's old eyes froze and seized the center of gravity. Uchiha Madara smiled, well, that's one of them, but it's not all. My main purpose is to end this troubled world. What do you want to do? Raikage of the 4th generation asked, biting the big kiba, and now what he hates most is hearing such seemingly great ideals, because those who have them are mentally ill. Uchiha Madara raised a finger and shook it, do what Hashirama didn't do back then. You want to rule the entire ninja world. Onoki's face twitched. Senju Hashirama did have such an opportunity back then. But he finally chose to give up. Does the man in front of him want to bring up the old thing again? Crazy people are really crazy. The longer they live, the more crazy they become. No, unifying the entire ninja world is completely meaningless for peace. Even if the ninjas die, the world will not go to peace. What I want to do is to seek the true eye of peace. Asshole. Then what is it? Uchiha Madara slowly got up and threw off the sleeves of his robe. At this moment, he seemed to be taller than ever before. I merge all things in the world with me, and become a complete body of the unity of heaven and man. Shock. Shock. Can't be more shocked. The people who were shocked were puzzled again, and the heaven and man were united and merged into one. Although I don't know what kind of fusion method, but thinking about it, I know that it is not a good thing. Terumi Mei, Gaara, Onoki, Might Guy, Yayui, and the shadows of the 5 kingdoms of wind, fire, water, earth and thunder all narrowed their eyes. What is the unity of heaven and man, and what is the unity of man? What exactly are you talking about? Don't worry, we can talk slowly. Raising his finger again and shaking his head, Uchiha Madara explained to the crowd, the Uchiha family has a stone tablet passed down through the ages, which is still hidden in the ground of Konoha. The secrets written by the 6 Paths sages, but they cannot be read without pupil power. In the order of Sharingan, Mangekyo Sharingan, Rinnegan, the content will keep increasing. Quote. What are you talking about, 6 Paths sage? Why don't you just say God of creation? He did exist. Uchiha Madara glanced at Onoki contemptuously. That stone tablet is the best proof. What kind of steel is not a steel? What does this have to do with your plan? Rumble smashed the rubble with his fist, and the 4th generation Hokage roared angrily. Uchiha Madara put up his hands indifferently, and asked condescendingly, do you know why the 6 Paths Immortal is called the god of ninjas and is worshipped by the world? That's what I want to do. Hateful. You made it clear. The second update, brothers and sisters, come on, there are votes to support after the midnight, the cloud will thank you first. Text chapter 332_ the 1000-year-old account has been lifted. Don't be arrogant, Lord Hokage. Heihei168.com. Terumi May waved her hand to stop the roar of the 4th generation Hokage, and turned back to the impostor and said, Uchiha Madara, you have Mangekyo, and the one just now has Rinnegan. It seems that you do know everything. Quote. Hehe, there is still a reasonable person. Yes, I do know everything. The reason why the 6 Paths Immortal is a god and is worshipped by the world is because he once saved the whole world from a monster. Fuck it. It sounds like listening to a fairy tale. Not necessarily, such legendary guys have come out, and it is not impossible for myths to appear in the world. Are we going to fight this guy? Jiro, I want to retire. I want to go back now. They exchanged glances with cold sweat on their faces. Ordinary people don't care who saved the world, what they think about is how to save their lives. I've already died once, so I don't want to die a second time. What is that monster? Uchiha Madara looked at Gaara playfully. Look at your appearance, you seem to have guessed something, but as the carrier of this monster's seal, it's not surprising. The monster you're talking about is Shukaku. The 4th Hokage sneered. A tailed beast is still the last tailed beast. If you can defeat such a guy and you can be conferred a god, then there are too many gods in this world. Uchiha Madara shook his head condescendingly. Of course I'm not talking about 1 tail, but 10 tails. 10 tails. Isn't there only 9-tailed beasts? Where did the 10 tails come from? The old face of the 3rd generation Tsuchikage floated off the ground with a gloomy look, and the robes rattled in the cold wind. Baidu Interesting Academy. Uchiha Madara smiled under the mask. Together with all the tailed beasts as 10 tails, 1 tail to Kyubi 9 tails is nothing but chakra separated from it. He was rescued from the claws of Kiba, so he was revered as a god. But he is immortal, and he will die one day. In order to prevent the evil 10 tails from breaking through the seal and causing harm to the world after their own death, the 6 Paths sage divided the power of 10 tails into 9 types and sent them all over the world before dying. This is the 9-tailed beasts. He also banished the 10 tails, chakras remaining husk into the sky that no one can reach, that is the moon. Are we listening to the scriptures? This sounds too unreliable. Looking up at the dim silver plate in the snow, the ninja warriors swallowed involuntarily. Don't take things that you can't accept as impossible. As a 10 tails Jinchuriki column force, 6 Paths Immortals have long since become beyond human beings, and that's what he does. What a terrible script. Is that why Akatsuki is collecting tailed beasts? Kankuro touched his chest, which seemed to be still throbbing, and stared at Uchiha Madara. 6 Paths Immortals once developed a kind of ninjutsu in order to save the world from the claws of 10 tails. This is the Jinchuriki column force seal technique that has been secretly inherited and passed down to this day, and the 6 Paths Immortals themselves are 10 tails. People Jinchuriki column force. Quote. Quack quack. Enough. Stop talking about these useless things. Senju Tsunade looked at the quartet with sullen eyes, and finally cast his resentful eyes to the shadows of the 5 great powers. Uchiha Madara smiled scornfully. Hashirama's last bloodline in the world. What are you angry about? Are you angry about the ingratitude of these people? What do you mean by that? Gaara turned her eyes suspiciously, not understanding why Senju Tsunade suddenly burst out. 3rd generation Tsuchikage's old face is ugly and the eyebrows are twitched, and the 4th generation Raikage's expression is also very unnatural. The sealing method of the human Jinchuriki column force is what Hashirama asked from the country of Vortex to give to the 5 countries, and he wants to seek world peace. He believes that under the deterrence of the powerful force of the tail beast, the countries will never start war again. But the fact is, in the past, the major countries that got the tailed beast did not become what he hoped, but instead used the tailed beast as a weapon of war. And the country of the Vortex was destroyed because of this. Quote. Uchiha Madara said here and turned his attention to Onoki. The 3rd generation of Tsuchikage, the annihilation of the country of the Vortex that triggered the 3rd Ninja War, you have contributed a lot to it, right? There are 4 generations of Raikage, you should also have a foot in it. What? The 1,000-year-old account was opened, and Gaara Terumime was completely shocked. Uchiha Madara looked at them playfully. Don't be surprised, your village also participated in that battle, and the 3 generations of Mizukage, who are rarely recorded, died there. Shocked. Puzzled. After Uchiha Madara finished speaking, Senju Tsunade's pretty face was completely cold below freezing. I don't care about your business. Princess Tsunade. Tsunadeheim. The green coat with the words, Gamble, on the back was lifted high, and Senju Tsunade walked into the wind and snow with his head down. Liamong shoved the banknotes lid in his arms into his arms and quickly followed. My good sister, why didn't you call me when you left? Well, it's not worth getting angry with those idiots. If you want revenge, tell me, whoever you want to kill, I'll kill whoever you want. He smiled and glanced back at the ninjas of the 5 kingdoms. The strange eyes before Liamong left were deeply imprinted in their hearts. Uzumaki Naruto stood sluggishly in the snow, as if the world had left him at once. The master craftsman of the Iron Kingdom, Mifune, looked around and asked in a deep voice, we have no control over how to seal tailed beasts. I just want to know what you are going to do to collect tailed beasts. According to what you just said, what do you mean? To gain that power beyond mortals. That's right, I plan to resurrect the 10 tails and become the 10 tails Jinchuriki column power. Use that power beyond mortals to strengthen my pupil power and activate a spell. Launch a technique. Launch what technique? What do you want to do? Uchiha Madara glanced at Onoki with contempt, and looked up at the moon. I will project my pupil power into the moon, thus casting an unprecedented super demonic illusion infinite Tsukuyomi, including everyone in the world and me. To be one is to unite the whole world into one. Quote. From now on, there will be no barriers or disputes in the world, and everything will be integrated with me to achieve the ultimate oneness. This is my Moon Eye plan. In the 3rd update, brothers and sisters will update and ask for tickets at 0:100. Please support those who have tickets in hand, and the cloud will thank you first here. The beginning of each month is very important to the author. I didn't understand it before, but this time I count on everyone. Text Chapter 333_Aoli Feng Shui's Declaration of War. What a joke, how can you put the world in your hands like this? Raikage of the 4th generation roared and pursed his beard, his mouth full of excitement. Heihei168.com. Demonic illusion is an illusion after all, and it only makes sense if it is realized in the real world. Gaara folded her hands, obviously disagreeing. That's just escaping. Terumime exclaimed excitedly, what's the meaning of existence in such a world? There is no dream, no hope, all existence is fake. You lunatic, do you want to play with everyone? The 3rd generation of Tsuchikage explained the essence of the matter. Manipulate everyone under demonic illusion. Use your will to influence them, even if the world is peaceful. That's just it in the world of puppets. This old man will not let you succeed. Youth should be accustomed to the will of the self. If you lose yourself, you are no longer a human being. Might Guy finally spoke, clenching his right fist and looking at Madara, betting on the name of the 6th generation of Hokage. Even if you spell this, I want to stop you with my life. His mask, he raised his head and laughed violently. Uchiha Madara laughed enough to look at Wang and sneered. What are you doing so excited? In fact, you know in your heart that this world is long overdue. Hope and giving up are gone. Any difference, it's just a perfunctory statement. Hand over Kyuubi, Nine Tails, and Yao, and let me complete the Moon Eye project. Otherwise, war will come. War. What does this lunatic mean by that? Is he going to start a war? Crazy, crazy. Is this world crazy or are we crazy? Uzumaki Naruto, are you going with me by yourself, or do you want me to take you by force? Slowly withdrawing his eyes from the ground and raising his eyelids, Uzumaki Naruto looked at Madara, with a silent expression. What Moon Eye plans or what war has nothing to do with me now. I just want to ask you a question. A few years ago, did you lead the Kyuubi, Nine Tails, attack on the village? Who else was involved? You already know and ask. Interesting academy. Uchiha Madara rolled his eyes at Naruto in disdain. Uzumaki Naruto got angry. You did it, you bastard. Don't be impulsive. The 5 figures circled around. Terumi Mei, Gaara, the 4th generation Raikage, Might Guy, and the 3rd generation Tsuchikage together to protect Naruto in the center. Kid, calm down, you can't beat him. Shadow of the 5 Kingdoms, do you want to protect this kid? Uchiha Madara smiled and looked at the coalition forces, where the tall Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, stood like an ancient god. Do it. The 5 shadows that have been experienced once are not even 30% sure. Uchiha Madara looked at the fearful eyes of the ninja warriors, and became more and more disdainful. What's the point of you doing this? Even if I am not strong now, but with the 7-tailed beasts in hand, you have no chance of winning. Give it up. He handed it over to me, and the world will go to peace. Quote. You are right, the world will move towards peace, but it is not the peace you said, and we will not give up hope. Gaara's eyes stood firmly in front of Naruto, and there was a decisive decision in his words. Kage Kid is not afraid. Of course I am not afraid of the old man. The 2-day scale Onoki wiped Yuhi's nose with force. Fight and fight. Kumogakure never fears any challenge. 4th generation Raikage furiously pouted his mustache. You must be punished for what you did to the village of Kurigakure. Terumi Mei took a step forward with a sullen expression. The will of fire burns my youth, and the blue beast of Konoha is willing to die. Might Guy said and opened the 8 inner gates. Fire, water, earth and thunder, the shadows of the 5 kingdoms expressed their positions one after another, and the general of the neutral country, Mifune Chu, took out his sword and shouted, Samurai, draw your sword. For our beliefs. Willingness to get used to peace. War. Fight to the death. The high aura penetrated the freezing cold wind, and the ninjas looked at the samurai standing in front, bit kiba and drew their weapons. Die or die. Not bad this time anyway. Rather than being toyed with as a puppet, it's better to fight one another. I don't want to be someone else's toy. That must be a terrible feeling. Yuian, forgive me, I may not be able to go back this time. Daughter, I will marry a good man in the future. Mom, take care of yourself. The last words and the entrustment of the last words. The ninjas are undoubtedly much worse than the firm will and belief of the samurai. But they are also not lacking in the heart to pay for death. When they are on a dead end, even the ants dare to swing a knife at the elephant. Let's fight. Fight to the death. Either he died or I died. Fuck him. The murderous intent rushing straight to Shaohan is like a raging wave in the deep ocean. Uchiha Madara bowed down with his hands on his back, and the one eye behind the Uzumaki-shaped mask showed a look of contempt. If that's the case, Then, in the name of my Uchiha Madara, I announce the beginning of the Fourth Ninja World War. Are you serious? The fourth generation Hokage took 2 steps forward, a heavy pressure on everyone's heart. Uchiha Madara didn't answer directly, leaving a message in the wind. I'm not a fool to joke about this kind of thing. Next time, we'll see you on the battlefield. Kyuubi, Ninetales will be with you first. Wait for me. Find Yao and pick it up. The frigid wind howled through the dilapidated ruins, and the ninja warriors looked down at the open space in front of them. It seems that there is really no room for recovery. The old man showed helplessness on his face, and the third generation Tsuchikage suddenly felt a little disappointed. What a life full of gunpowder smoke. Born in World War I, grew up in World War II, became famous in World War III, and finally faced 4 world wars. In this life of this old man, he alone has a predestined relationship with the war. He was born in World War I as a child, worked hard in World War II when he was older, dominated the Third World War as an adult, and was about to die and rushed the last train to the Fourth World War. 4 battles, deadly battles, maybe it's not bad to die here. Hands on his back and looking at the sky and snow, the 3-generation Tsuchikage 2-day scale Onoki suddenly gave birth to boundless pride. This old man's life should be regarded as a legendary life. Sarutobi Hiruzen, you can't compare to me in the end. What's next? Long silence, Terumi May asked the most important question. In the endless snowstorm, Liamong opened his arms and rushed towards Hinata, picked up the little secretary and made several circles. Circle by circle, year by year. Stinky boy. Fu-kun. Tears of excitement slid down his cheeks, bursting joy filling his chest. Are we going home? Yes, let's go home. It's time to bring out the previously hidden things. This time we want to let the world know that the days of ninjas are over. Chapter 4. Brothers and sisters, today is the last day of the month. The cloud will be updated at 000, and I hope capable friends will give more support. Thank you for the cloud first. The beginning of the month is very important to the author. Your support is the biggest driving force for the cloud, aiming. Text chapter 334 arguing and resolving Guy, SIQ. The Three-Wolf Mountain, where the cold wind is raging, Yayui, Terumi May, Gaara, and Might Guy sit in the earthen fort temporarily built by the 2-day scale Onoki. Mobile reading is more convenient m.heihei168.com. Mifune sat in the middle and asked, what do you guys suggest about the war? Coalition. Gaara's words are always so simple. If you want to deal with the 7-tailed beasts, you can only form a ninja coalition. I agree. When Gaara's voice fell, Yii expressed her stance. Lord Hokage, Terumi May asked very strangely, didn't you always oppose the coalition forces before, why this time? It was before, now is now. Yii hugged her arms and snorted, thinking about Killer Bee, you bastard, waiting for Lao Su to find you, an iron fist that wants you to eat love. Seeing that the 4th generation of Hokage was unwilling to explain more, the 3rd generation of Tsuchikage coughed and looked at Naruto. I want to stop Madara's eyes. Eye of the moon. The moon doesn't care whether he has the moon eye or the sun eye. In short, to stop his plan, he must protect Kyuubi, 9 tails, and 8 tails. Now that 8 tails is not here, this kid must be optimistic. Otherwise, if 10 tails really wants to, I'm afraid we'll be resurrected. Onoki looked around as he spoke. Although he didn't finish his sentence, everyone understood what he meant. The resurrection of 10 tails also means that the war is lost, and that kind of guy is no longer capable of manpower. I'll tell you to go down to find Killer Bee immediately. Kumogakure needs your help in this matter. Yii looked one by one and lowered her body for the first time. Then let's start with our country of iron. Mifune squinted his eyes and swept behind him. Zu, Changsho, you are responsible for this matter yourself. Green. Terracotta. Konkuro. Send a signal to the village and try to find Killer Bee Jinchuriki column force. Interesting Academy first release. What? Guy wanted to send a letter after seeing Feng Shui Tuying's statement one after another, but he looked left and right but couldn't find anyone. Rakage glanced at him angrily. Looking for Killer Bee is an important thing, and I hope you can do more, please. Kid Rakage, we don't need you to tell us about this, we will do it with our hearts. The third generation Tsuchikage gave Yayui a hard glance, and then changed the topic. However, Madara has the power of 7-tailed beasts together, and it is not to be taken lightly. He must have the ninjutsu or trump card to control the tailed beast. Otherwise, he would not be so arrogant. The old man suggested that this kid be involved in the battle. This is not possible. Gaara looked up at Naruto. The reason why Madara used the collected 7-tailed beasts to start a war is most likely because with his current weak strength and the remaining Akatsuki members, he was unable to capture the 8-tailed beasts. And Kyuubi, 9 tails. That's why he wants to consume through war, which is evident from his retreat when he has the upper hand. Quote. What Mr. Kazekage said makes sense. Now that I think about it, Madara's previous actions are indeed problematic. Terumi May frowned and crossed her long fingers. If you choose to retreat when you have an absolute advantage, there must be something in Madara that we don't know. Weakness. Quote. Is it the Colossus, or is it the 7-tailed beast? Rakage of the 4th generation also found something strange. I have fought with Erway several times before, and I found that its power was not complete during the battle, probably only less than half of the usual. Quote. The tailed beast is out of control. That's good news. Not necessarily. Terumi May answered in a deep voice. After all, the tailed beast's thinking is different from ours. Who knows what they are thinking? Little human girl, in front of the old man, say this and that, do you want to die? Of the fire Yuhi that appeared suddenly shrouded the round table of the talks, and the shadows of the 5 kingdoms froze instantly. Kyuubi, 9 tails. This fox has come out again. 1. The old man and this dead boy have an account to deal with, that guy who hides his head and shows his tail. Also, let me remind you that he is not some Uchiha Madara. What? What? You said he wasn't Uchiha Madara. Of course he won't be Madara. Kyuubi, 9 tails, bit Kiba angrily. There are only 2 people who signed a psychic blood contract with the old man. One is Uchiha Madara, and the other is the one who attacked Konoha 16 years ago. Black Hand, that guy is the latter. The induction between contracts will not go wrong, and the old man will not recognize the wrong person. After the call, the crowd was terrified, and the shadows of the 5 major countries were all gone. A long time. Onoki said sternly, since he's not Madara, why did he play this name? Is it simply pulling the flag and pulling the tiger's skin, or? It's better not to be. Terumi May's pretty face was livid and she spread her hands. If Madara is really controlling all of this behind the scenes, we will have 2 top players to deal with. 3rd generation Tsuchikage squinted at the big beauty. Mizukage, little girl, war must be considered in the worst way. Since this possibility exists, we must be prepared. Lord Tsuchikage is right, but we don't have to worry too much. Since they didn't choose to attack from the front, it means that they still have consideration. Guy's 2 big round eyes puffed out excitedly. If they dare not attack, they must have weaknesses. As long as we find them out. It's easy to say, how to find it? Onoki snorted twice, making no secret of his contempt. Might Guy jumped onto the round table. Of course we use our fiery youth. Youth is not allowed to retreat. Youth is about discovery. Let's work hard towards youth together. Night Moon Eye. Terumi May. Gaara. Onoki. This is Konoha's 6th generation Hokage. I suddenly felt that there was something wrong with this coalition. Me too. With such a brain-dead guy, can we really win? Hey, what kind of eyes do you guys have? Am I right? Guy looked around and lit up the big Kiba. Don't lose confidence, big guy, we're the best. This guy. Feeling that the depressing and dull atmosphere in the venue was dissipated, Onoki faced Might Guy for the first time, and it was not easy for this 6th generation Hokage to be able to use this method to boost morale. Idiot people use idiot tricks. Such a man is not handsome at all. Tell me, what to do next? Do you want to let this kid go to the battlefield? It still won't work. Gaara completely ignored the gazes of Kyuubi, Nine Tails, and Naruto. This war is a battle to protect Kyuubi, Nine Tails, and the Eight Tails. They must not participate in the war easily. Why don't you let me fight? Just because we are the shadows of the 5 great nations. Happy New Year's Day to everyone. The beginning of the month is very important for writers. The clouds are rolling around and asking for a monthly pass. Brothers and sisters, ask for your support. Text Chapter-321-340 who said he was not qualified. I order that the country of snow will enter a state of war immediately. Interesting Academy. I ordered that the sealed arsenal be fully unlocked. I order that all ministers will be dispatched immediately around the movement aid order. If there is a delay, kill them. Liamong stood beside Kazuhana Koyuki and issued 3 orders in a row. 3 Teifu stood at the front of the group of ministers and handed over. Master Kuchiki, I don't know why you gave such an order. Liamong let out a sullen breath. The 4 wars have begun. What? With a blast of thunder hitting their foreheads, the ministers of the snow country all stunned their eyes, and even the nobles who felt that their behavior was more than dissatisfied were not in the mood to be angry. Master Kuchiki, can you say it again? The Minister of Finance was wiping cold sweat with a fluke, and his whole body was shivering. Liamong's words made them die. You heard right, the 4th Ninja World War has begun. The war has really begun. Sky. After getting Liamong's affirmative answer, the crowd became a mess. This time there is no need to explain, everyone understands the importance of the problem. Santeifu hurriedly asked, which country is at war with which country? Not a war between the 5 great powers. Ga. Not the 5 major countries, not the 5 major countries, what is the 4 wars? Deadwood Master. Have you heard of Uchiha Madara? Lu Meng let out a long sigh and explained the matter slowly. With his introduction, the faces of the ministers became worse and worse, and finally all turned into rigid stone statues. Baidu Interesting Academy. Ridiculous, ridiculous, how could such a ridiculous thing happen? Master Kuchiki, are you sure you're not mistaken? The minister who asked aloud had an old face with Yuhi, not so much a question as it was difficult to accept the reality. Liamong didn't even look at him, and continued with his fingertips. Right now, the 5 countries have formed a coalition to discuss the issue of dealing with Akatsuki. This war will change the pattern of the world. As ministers of the snow country, you must have this whoever did not speak up immediately. Otherwise, don't blame me for being ruthless at that time. Whoever dares to delay the fighter plane and delay the work, I will take their head. Quote. The extremely cold eyes swept across the crowd one by one, and the ministers of the snow country were horrified. Kazuhana Koyuki stood up and spread out his long sleeves and said loudly, officially announced in the name of the Lord of the Snow Country, from now on, Master Kuchiki will officially take over as the general, and he will take care of everything during the war. Wait. Hearing Kazuhana Koyuki's order, the ministers were anxious. Your Majesty Koyuki, after all, Master Kuchiki is not from our snow country, how can you entrust such an important task to him? Do you have an opinion? Do-ent dare. The ministers secretly glanced at Kazuhana Koyuki, then turned their eyes back to Kazuhana Koyuki. Sir, we naturally dare not disobey your orders. However, if the position of general is given to outsiders, it is bound to fail to convince the public. Even if we agree, we will be resisted by our subordinates. What happens at that time? We will be small if we turn around, and if the country's affairs are broken, it will be bad. I didn't see it. You are still some loyal ministers. Kazuhana Koyuki narrowed his eyes coldly, and the minister who spoke below trembled. No matter how beautiful the words are, they can't change their selfishness. They still don't want Lu Meng to take the throne. My lord, we are all for the good of the country. For the good of the country, a good one is for the good of the country. Kazuhana Koyuki sneered 3 times and stared at the ministers who refuted these rebuttals. What if Ben Gong insists on insisting? Your Majesty Koyuki, if you insist, please allow the old minister to resign. I am also willing to resign. The nobles who stood up Hulala knelt down. Liamong looked at these guys, raised his hand and wiped his nose. Kazuhana Koyuki looked at each other in silence, and didn't speak for a long time. The atmosphere in the palace became more and more depressing, and the howling cold wind was no less dull than the one in the room. Kazuhana Koyuki's head hurts a lot. If it was normal, she would have done these guys with a cruel heart, and there is no trouble in the country of snow. But right now, it is absolutely impossible. Without these guys, many things will be paralyzed. If newcomers want to get familiar with their work, they will not even think about it for a year and a half. Are you going to kill them? The sudden rise of murderous intent shot downward through both eyes, and the nobles, big and small, shuddered. Having had previous experience of chaos, the above is not a little girl who doesn't understand anything. On the contrary, her wrist is more ruthless than anyone else, and she is never soft when it comes to killing people. But it is impossible to ask them to obey the liar. This is the bottom line of the nobles. Long stalemate. Kazuhana Koyuki suddenly laughed. You said that Master Kuchiki is not from the snow country. Yes, Your Majesty Koyuki, no matter what Master Kuchiki is, he is not a person from the snow country. The position of the great general has never fallen into the hands of outsiders since ancient times. It is not because of lack of ability, but because of tradition. Aloud, the minister raised his eyelids carefully, and wisely pushed the responsibility to tradition. Kazuhana Koyuki smiled, and the smile was gone. Who told you that Master Kuchiki is not from the snow country? As the husband-kun of this palace, what's wrong with him being a general? What? Is he your husband-kun? Your Majesty Koyuki, such a joke is not allowed. When did you hear that this palace would joke? Kazuhana Koyuki stared silently below. The ministers were Spartan. This is not right. Liamong turned his head, and Kazuhana Koyuki had pleading in his eyes. After half a day, the ministers who could not find any other reason to refute bowed down and retired. In the empty hall, only Koyuki and Liamong were left. I need an explanation. For a long time, Lu Mang spoke first. Kazuhana Koyuki looked at him mournfully, looking at a girdle that had torn off his waistband. The flying silk sash floated into the air, and the robe symbolizing power fell to his feet. Koyuki didn't wear shoes today, and her smooth jade feet were very eye-catching. What was even more eye-catching than her jade feet was her snow-white and transparent skin. Liamong was dumbfounded. In his dull eyes, Kazuhana Koyuki came over like an elf in the snow. Master, will you give me a child? Happy New Year. Rolling in the clouds and snow for support, brothers and sisters all rely on you. Upstairs, the old lady of the Xi'an ethnic group made a cake to celebrate the New Year's Day. Text chapter 336_ninjas have to endure fools. You sang wrong again. When a woman, a beautiful woman, a naked beautiful woman leans in her arms and tells you that she wants a child, 3 options pop up in Liamong's head. 1. Get on her. 2. On her. 3. Still on her. Well, Liamong really misses her. But, Your Majesty Koyuki, can you tell me why? No reason, I just want a child. Kazuhana Koyuki leaned on his chest with a smile, and drew a circle on his chest with his flexed fingers. Liamong felt that his head was getting bigger. The cold wind blew white snowflakes and sprinkled the world, and a touch of fresh yuhi overflowed in the cold palace. Do you regret it? Liamong caressed Koyuki's eyebrows lovingly, the beauty tightened in pain even more charming. The choice of the king has no regrets. 837, Koyuki spit out a little fragrance from the charming cherry lips. I have waited for this day for 3 years and 18 days, love me. Little bit of sweat mixed with the breath of silver fans drifting around, and the 3 beauties by the fire were silent. She should have succeeded. Anko gripped the teacup angrily and didn't take a sip for a long time, it feels really bad to watch your man cheating. We promised her. Tamari raised her beautiful big eyes and sighed, that position is destined to be lonely, we don't need to care too much. Small, Koyuki's sister is actually, really bitter. Hinata, you're too kind. Anko angrily glanced at the little secretary who was speaking for outsiders, you'll only spoil that brat like this. It's easier to read on mobile phones m.heihei168.com. Brother, my brother won't. Hinata lowered his head weakly, and the milky white pupils were filled with the sweetness of happiness. Anko is speechless. Tamari smiled smugly, maybe it was the little secretary that made her get along with Anko peacefully. After this war, they can be together forever. War is a fucking shit. A fist slammed on the table and made a muffled sound. Hearing that the five shadows would not let him participate in the battle, Uzumaki Naruto clenched his fist angrily. I am in charge of my own affairs. That guy killed my father and mother. I have to ask him for an explanation myself. Naruto, Might Guy exclaimed in a deep voice, you have to keep calm, the village of the fourth generation of Hokage will decide for you, and now is not the time to act with anger. Shut up. Naruto turned his head with cold eyes, you will decide for me about my father, what a big joke. Naruto you. It's been years, in the past year, I, who bear the name of the demon fox alone, have suffered from your Byakugan and cold treatment. Is this how you take care of the hero's son? Naruto's voice was very cold, I'm not my father, I can't love the village like he does. I have tried my best for this more than once, but how did you do it? Naruto, Might Guy opened his mouth with a livid face, not knowing what to do. The village also has concerns of the village, this is their protection for you. Ha ha ha, protection. Naruto raised his hand and stroked his golden hair, and laughed angrily in public. Protection? What protection? The protection of imprisonment. Might Guy's face turned blue. Naruto pointed to his nose and asked loudly. Eugenian's resentment burst out. My father, my mother, all died in a conspiracy. Remember the surname Uzumaki. He ripped off his coat, and Naruto slapped it on the table. Look at this sign, look at this pattern, I've never felt so disgusted in the village as I do now. Enough. Guy stood up, breathing heavily. Let him pass the past, now we should be talking about war. You can go there, but I can't. Naruto sneered as he put on his shirt, turned his head and wanted to go out. Gaara stepped back and pressed his shoulder. Don't be impulsive. You can't fight that guy with your own strength. If you can, how about a guest at our Sunagakur? Cage kid, that's a good calculation. The third generation Tsuchikage slapped twice. This has nothing to do with calculations. Gaara glanced sideways at Onoki. As a former one-tailed Jinchuriki, column force, I can understand his mood. Naruto, stay here, we will all help you. That's right, yellow-haired boy. Kankuro also expressed his stance. That guy is Uchiha Madara, even though he is a fake, you should also know his interests. Gestures and gestures of the huge Geto Mazo, demonic statue of the outer path, the Sunagakur puppet master lived in vain, and the atmosphere in the earthen fort was condensed again. Naruto, if you think our Sunagakur village is not good enough, you can go to other villages. Gaara turned her eyes sincerely. The fourth generation of Raikage, the third generation of Tsuchikage, and the fifth generation of Mizukage were all startled, and they were overjoyed at first, but immediately frowned. I'm not going anywhere, I'm going to the battlefield. This can't be done. Gaara looked at Naruto resolutely. As a high-end power and the enemy's first choice, you must act together with everyone. The war is not a one-on-one battle between two people, and the individual's combat power will become weak in the war. Although you are strong, you are not strong enough to lead victory by yourself. For your safety and the safety of the coalition forces, don't be impulsive. Quote. The dead boy listens to him. Although the old man also wants to take revenge, the old man does not want to die in vain. Kurama, why even you? I have participated in more wars than you know, so I won't suffer from listening to this old man. Kyubi Ninetails opened his eyes in the sea of spirit and said seriously. What's next? 3 generations of Tsuchikage looked at the silent Naruto and brought the topic back. Be careful, you must not let Yaoi and Kyubi, 9 tails, be exposed to the enemy casually. And, Reikage of the 4th generation paused. My brother Killer Bee Jinchuriki, column Killer Bee is not the same as fighting. Even ordinary people can't understand his thoughts. If you really let him go to the battlefield, it will only make a mess. You will never imagine how nasty that guy can be. Stupid, stupid, you sang wrong again. Standing on the big bear's head and waving his fists, his uncle Doubting, who is not tall enough, taught Killer Bee a lesson. The essence of rap is not to speak, nor to sing, but to emotional outbursts and releases. Quote. Learn from me and do it again. Ninja, hold back your tears. Killer Bee looked at his uncle Doubting and raised the grass mud horse gesture high. Ninja, you have to endure, yay, death is delayed, oh yeah. Idiot, you're wrong again. Is grateful for the support of the brothers who can't afford to hurt. There will be 5 chapters in the main text today, aim. Text chapter 337 preparation under the undercurrent of tenderness like water. If you want to rap and sing well, you need to practice. Pay attention to the tail sound of the nose, and the abdominal tremor should not be less. Bye, what's the matter with you? Someone. With a braid on the top of his head and a pair of smelly insoles under his feet, Killer Bee's rap teacher tilted his head. Medicine, check out, you can't have a shark head. Medicine, check out, it's not good to be 8 feet tall. I'm Asan, who are you? You'd better stay on your side, shivering old man, I'm here to find him. Kisame Hoshigaki pointed at Killer Bee with a terrifying smile. I've been looking for you for a long time, Yaoi. Yo, looking for me. Killer Bee was very strange. It's not good to be found out. Oh yeah, Mr. Asan, you step back, this guy is not wonderful. B, is he dangerous? It's not dangerous in general, oh yeah. Killer Bee's face dignified thinking of the ghost shark, and their eyes collided for an instant. Fix him. The first 8 knives bees flying and picking peony. Yaoi, you're still so irritable. The phantom stabbing attacked in front of him, and Ganshi blocked it with a large knife, but it doesn't matter, I'll deal with you right away. Sweetened water style, water colliding wave. Teacher Asan, let's go. Seeing Kisame Hoshigaki zooming in, Killer Bee immediately made a retreat gesture to Asan. The rumbling water waves spewed out from the mouth that opened to the limit, and the ghost shark stood on the top of the wave and raised the big knife. Killer Bee's face darkened. How does it feel to be a lord of a kingdom? There is no spring in the snow country, and Liamong stayed at the door as soon as he returned home. Interesting academy. Enko shook the cup of hot tea in his hand. I am very happy to have the love of the lord of a country. That what? Fu-kun, we didn't blame you. Tamari smiled and blinked her big eyes, her long eyelashes flickering like a goblin. His Majesty Koyuki is very lonely, I will spend more time with her in the future. A muffled thunder struck his forehead, straying into Sparta. Before coming back, he thought about many possibilities, but he didn't think of this one. Did Enko Tamari take the wrong medicine? Fu-kun, what are you doing? You don't have a fever. Liamong's forehead touched Tamari's forehead, very puzzled. Enko's face twisted strangely, and he sprayed tea water in the little secretary's low laugh. It's dazzling, they are. His Majesty Koyuki has already told us the conditions, so you don't need to worry. When it comes to you, you are not allowed to run around in the future. Enko put one hand on Liamong's broad shoulder and bit down, no longer allowed. Leave us. Big drops of tears soaked the placket of his clothes, and his heart was broken. I will never leave you again. Pull hook. Enko curled his little finger boyishly, looked down at her with Liamong, leaned over and kissed Zhaoyun. Don't do anything wrong. Enko gave a slight push. They're still watching. Liamong laughed. Then come together. Brother. Fu-kun. Haha, here I come. In the turbulent night, the moon covered half, and the stars shone on the face. "Brother, Hinata likes you very much," the little secretary whispered and hugged the pillow tightly. "In the village, my father always scolded me, and my mother seldom took care of me. They always said that the eldest daughter of the Hyuga family needs to be strong. But Hinata really can't stand up. Until I met you." The body curled up in his arms raised his head slightly, and the little secretary looked at Liamong fascinated. "My brother's chest is very warm and solid, and it is very reassuring to lean on it. Promise Hinata, please, brother, never leave Hinata's side in the future. Hinata really needs you very much." "Little fool." Liamong bowed his head and kissed the little secretary lightly, pulling her into his arms with both hands. Tamari Anko pretending to be sleeping looks at each other and smiles. "The stinky boy is so cute." Unexpectedly, husband Kun also has such a tender side. "Quick, load these weapons into the car, don't move those over there, they will be transported away on the next shift." "Asshole, who told you to mess around with things? That's the equipment of the 3rd Regiment." In a country that snows all year round, tension is spreading. In fact, the whole continent is like this. "Kurama, what do you mean by being alive?" Naruto sat in the pool and looked at Kyubi, Ninetales, with his chin up. Yugi Fur Fox, who folded his hands as a pillow, yawned. "How old are you, you bastard? Just think about things that only old men like this need to think about." I suddenly became confused. Naruto stared at the front, his blue eyes lost focus. "When I was young, I wanted to be a Hokage, thinking that as long as I sat in that position, I would be supported by the villagers. Gradually growing up, this belief has gradually shaken. Jiraiya teacher, father, mother, they all want me to protect the village. I also worked hard for this, but..." "Let's go, Naruto." The icy words shot at the heart again like a sharp arrow, and Naruto lowered his eyes. "They all hate me, they are afraid of me, they hate me, they think that I am the source of disaster, even my comrades think so. Kurama, isn't this very funny?" Naruto hummed twice and buried his head in the crook of his knee. Kyubi, Ninetales, the fox's closed eyes slightly opened 2 slits, and the boy outside the cell raised the corners of his mouth. "Pursue power. As long as you have strong power, you will no longer be manipulated by others. If you can beat Uchiha Madara, who else will despise you? If you can become a 6 paths immortal, who will dare to spurn you? Hate, fear, disgust, it's all the actions of the weak. You are weak, dead boy. What? I'm not." "No." Kyubi, Ninetales, looked at Naruto sneeringly. "You said you weren't, but your current performance is not as good as the weak. The strong will only challenge difficulties, and no matter how big the difficulties will be, they are knocked down, and they will not choose to escape. What are you doing here? Do you want the old man to comfort you?" "I am Kyubi, Ninetales, the most powerful tailed beast in the world. Neither your father nor your mother. No kung fu wasting time with you." Kurama. Infuriated, Kyubi, Ninetales, raised his eyelids. "It's better to think about how to become stronger if you have this skill." "What should I do?" Naruto clenched his fists and approached the cell door. Kyubi, Ninetales, laughed. "Isn't this dead boy worthless? Uchiha Madara, Senju Hashirama, I really want to see the faces of you who dare to play with the old man when you see this kid. Want more power? Open the door. Also has 1 chapter and 2 new volumes. Happy New Year's, brothers and sisters. I don't know when the firecrackers will stop outside all afternoon. How are you doing? 4. I love you forever." Text Chapter 338-5 Shadows 5 Famous 5 Kingdoms. Who is the leader of the coalition? Hokage the 4th generation roared and left his seat, his hands slammed. Boom. Knocked hard on the table twice. "I have no patience for arguing with you. Hurry up and choose a leader. Baidu Interesting Academy. Who to choose? Do you choose?" The 3rd generation Tsuchikage gave Yi a sideways glance. "Choose me, choose me." Hokage continued to roar. "It's better to let Lao Su do it than to give it to you, asshole. Kid Hokage, make it clear, what's wrong with this old man? Your predecessor, Tsuchikage, is a calamity. You are the apprentice he handed over by himself, where else can the light go? Yuyai overturned the old man and hugged her arms. 2 days, Onoki was annoyed. I want to slander other people's teachers, is this how you Kumogakure do? Okay, stop arguing, I propose Lord Reikage to be the leader of the coalition forces. Mifune stood up to stop the noise and said his decision. Onoki glanced at him. You proposed Tsunadeheim before, and now you are proposing this guy again. I highly doubt your level of resolution. Old man Tsuchikage. Yuyai roared angrily. No matter how loud you shout, how can you make people trust you with your irritable temper? Onoki stroked his beard and put his hands behind his back. The leaders of the coalition forces must always keep calm. Too much emotion will only make everyone fall into the enemy's set. Snares. Then who did you say come from? Yuyai stared at Onoki. Tell me, do you want to do it yourself? What's wrong with the old man being the leader? Has anyone here fought against Madara? It's only me who weighs Onoki for 2 days. I need to say whether that guy is Madara or not, but QB 9 Tails, the fox himself said that it is a fake. Heihei168.com. Can you believe the words of the tailed beast? Onoki looked at Yuyai sarcastically. The annual ring people are just inexperienced, and such a big event, only the old man can withstand it. Now is not the time to argue, I choose Reikage. Gaara said suddenly. Onoki was annoyed when he heard this. Cage boy, what do you mean? Isn't this old man more reliable than this grumpy guy? Lord Tsuchikage, there is a reason why I chose this. Gaara put his hands on his chin. Now the only tailed beasts left are Yatai and Kyubi, 9 Tails. The Naruto guy fell out with Konoha. It is not easy to stabilize. According to the information, the rest of the 8 Tails only listen to Reikage-sama himself. Since this war is mainly about protecting the 2 of them, Reikage-sama is undoubtedly more suitable than you. Just because they have tailed beasts. Although I don't want to say that, but Tsuchikage-sama, Kumogakure village is the only one that has nothing to do with Akatsuki. Terumi May squinted Onoki to Yuyai. I also support Reikage-sama. So, what about Konoha? Mifune struck the ball while the iron was hot to Might Guy, who had been silent. Guy's heart is like an overturned grocery store, and he has all kinds of tastes. Since Cage and Mizukage-sama jointly recommended Reikage, Konoha is fine. Lord Tsuchikage. Mifune heard Guy's agreement and turned to look at Onoki. Sand, fog, Konoha has made a statement. What do you mean? I mean, come and help me. Yuyai suddenly spit out soft words. It doesn't matter if you don't believe me, but if this goes on, the entire ninja world will disappear. Now, we must put aside personal likes and dislikes, sincerity and do. Kid Reikage, you still like to speak in such a commanding tone, it's really disgusting to hear it. 2 days of balance, Onoki said suddenly, but forget it, compared to the entire ninja world, the disappearance wheel is a plaything in the hands of others. It's nothing to help you once. Or you won't even have a chance to fight in the future. Remember, just this once. Ha ha ha, stubborn old man, do you want another time? After a little joke, everyone got up. Mifune looked at Lang from left to right and said, since everyone has made a decision, then I will announce as the general of a neutral country that the Ninja World Alliance is officially established. The leader of the alliance is the 4th generation of Reikage Yuyai. Take office, and officially notify the names of the countries later. Quote. Definitely. Definitely. It seems that this time is really going to be together. Nagajiro stood behind Mizukage and smiled, looking at Aonao and wanted to kick him. Kankuro cut his voice, who might become a companion in the future, one by one, the troublesome script, and the mess was terrible. Kurathashi, maybe I should prepare a bigger bomb. Go back to the village and send out the sunny post. Bululu's liquid battery turned on the waves and sent electricity to the screen. In the Phantom of Zizi Lala, the 5 kingdoms of feng shui, fire, earth and thunder appeared. After listening to Tizong Daimyo's brief explanation, the Water Kingdom Daimyo sweated. Akatsuki has such a large number of tailed beasts that he can't let them go. But what if they form a ninja alliance? What if they are out of control in the future? Daimyo of the Land of Water, you don't trust your country's ninjas so much. The name of the country of wind, how can you be better than me? Do you trust you not to give them money? That's because our country's finances are tight. My lords, called twice, the ninja responsible for the communication wiped away his cold sweat. After all, it's a long-distance communication. Please make a decision as soon as possible, the batteries are running out of power. Quote. The Kingdom of Lei agrees. The leader of the country's hidden village was appointed as the leader, and there was no reason why the name of the Kingdom of Lei would disagree. The Land of Earth also agrees, just like the Land of Thunder. The old eye wiped his forehead twice, and the great name of the Land of Earth made a statement. The country of the wind is the same. It's not bad, the country of fire also agrees. Then, Lord of the Land of Water. Drops of cold sweat slid down his cheeks, and the daimyo of the Land of Water nodded with great difficulty. When it comes to doubts about ninjas, he is the one who has been assassinated several times by Kurigakure missing nin. Ninja gods and horses are all unreliable things. The recorded image flickered twice, and the ninja in charge of manipulating the machine came to stand in front of the camera. Since everyone has agreed, the news of the establishment of the Ninja Alliance will soon be spread to the mainland. I am Tianhua, as the video recorder of the meeting. Testify here. Okay, hurry up, it's time to go home for New Year's Day. The fifth update of the main text of, I will give you 2 new chapters in the New Year's special chapter later. If you have a ticket, please give one. Thank you from the cloud. Happy New Year, happy yo. Text Chapter 339_ An increasingly turbulent world. The 5th group is to raise food, the 7th group manages weapons, the 8th group monitors ammunition, and the 9th group and 10th group will prepare the marching tent, which must be completed within 3 days. Interesting Academy is the first release. Yes, Tsunade-sama. A series of orders were issued. Senju Tsunade sat on the main seat, put down the document and stretched his waist. With golden hair draped behind her back, she is indescribably lazy and embroidered. Liamong yawned and poured her a cup of hot tea. Thank you so much, my good sister. Without you, I really can't handle these things. I didn't expect the war to be so troublesome. You bastard, what do you think war is? Do children play at home? Senju Tsunade took the teacup angrily and blew on the green leaves, a little fragrance to relieve his exhaustion. War is different from personal battles, and all aspects must be carefully considered. Otherwise one place can't handle. 043, which will lead to serious consequences. With your age and experience, it is impossible to preside over such a major war. Those nobles in the country of snow are abandoned, in this case nothing was wrong. Isn't this still you? Liamong scratched his head speechlessly. My good sister, I'll leave everything to you. Is it good? Senju Tsunade took 2 sips of incense. Let the legendary Sanin, the medical ninja creator, the great Princess Slug serve you, should you give something. My good sister. Liamong pulled over a chair with a bitter face. Which one of us is with whom? If you think it is, what else do you want? Sit away, son of a bitch. Senju Tsunade pushed Liamong, who brought his hilarious face closer. We're not that familiar with each other. But it's not that raw. My good sister, you are too raw. Liamong leaned forward without any skin, and just sat side by side with Tsunade-heim. The howling cold wind blows the forest outside the window, and the snow in the snow country never seems to be enough. You really decided to take part in this war. Senju Tsunade was silent for a moment, putting down the teacup. Liamong looked at Feishui outside the window and sighed. This is impossible. There has been a major deviation in the historical line. I must actively participate in it. Otherwise, the devil knows what will happen, and those guys are difficult to deal with. You bastard. Senju Tsunade turned his head seriously. What do you know? Aha, my good sister. Liamong looked back at Tsunade. I've never told anyone about these things. It's just your words, so there's no need to hide it. After drinking 3 pots of hot tea in a row, listening to the story like a book from heaven. Senju Tsunade's beautiful big eyes flashed with a strong shock and strange color. Tell me about such a thing, and you won't be afraid. There's nothing to be afraid of. I believe in you. Liamong smiled and stopped Tsunade from saying what he wanted to say. He thought that it was already like this anyway. Instead of fooling around on his own, it's better to find a smarter and more experienced help. Senju Tsunade crossed his fingers for a long time. Things have deviated significantly from what you said, but fortunately, a lot of information can still be used. Speaking of which, I really don't know whether to call you stupid or crazy. What? Even though I have such information, I don't know how to make good use of it. Instead, I almost put myself in it. If it were any of us, it wouldn't be what it is now. Quote. You mean Orochimaru and Jiraiya? Senju Tsunade sighed faintly and didn't answer, and the room fell silent again. Squeak. Pukun, it's time to go home for dinner, Master Tsunade, too. Eat, eat. The drenching rain Kabuto poured over the border of Shikoku, and the Takian village, which had stood in the cracks for hundreds of years, sounded a piercing alarm. There is an enemy invasion. Go to the southwest to support. Call Kenjiro on, bastard, who would it be at a time like this? The anxious ninja rushed into the fog with underwater breathing, leaning less, and the terrified screams cut through the sky. Really weak and humble existence, not even worth collecting. The fleeting figure disappeared under Yuhi's hooded Kabuto robe, and the already chaotic ninja world became even more turbulent. Three Wolf Mountains, the five shadows who were about to separate turned their attention to the center. Have you made up your mind? Naruto nodded expressionlessly. I want to go back to Mount Myoboku. I can find me through the contact frog I left. Be careful to hide well, that place is not unbreakable. Gaara stepped forward and patted Naruto on the shoulder, turned around and left with Kankuro. Might Guy, who was standing opposite, wanted to say something, but in the end it turned into a helpless sigh. Konoha owes this son so much that it's superfluous to say anything at this time. The fourth generation of Reikage and the third generation of Tsuchikage left one after another with a few snorts, and the beauty who stayed at the last swiped his finger across Naruto's cheek. Kyubi, Ninetails, listen carefully. Your boss asked me to tell you, when you are confused, go to the ruins of the Kingdom of Vortex, where you will get the answers you want. Quote. The country of Vortex. Uzumaki Naruto was stunned when he heard Terumi Mei's words, and when he looked up to ask something, the person had disappeared from sight. Returning to the village of Iwagakure carrying two large suitcases, Kurafashi looked at Onoki like a gas bag. Grandpa, why don't you just kill them? You're too impulsive, my granddaughter. Kill those guys and face Uchiha Madara alone, without thinking about your little brain. Grandpa, don't keep pushing people's foreheads, it's all Yuhi. Kuritsuchi touched the forehead that Onoki tapped in dissatisfaction. People just look at those guys unhappy. Reikage looks like an uncivilized gorilla. Hokage seems to be only still evolving the beast. Kazekage 1010 is a stinky fart that doesn't have anything to do with other things. The most annoying thing is Mizukage, and I want to kill her with a bomb. Kuritsuchi, you are jealous. Shut up, brother, or I'll set your house on fire if you don't turn around. The fat, hill-like terracotta slapped him twice, with a grinning face like a meat bun, making Kuritsuchi mad enough to order your house when he goes back. Bang! Lord Reikage has news from Lord Killer Bee. Where is he? Did you all have a happy New Year's Eve? The cloud was almost killed by firecrackers, and it was just a crackling sound. I feel a lot older, and time has passed in a blink of an eye. I hope you all have fun, year after year, day by day. Hey, this day goes by so fast. Text chapter 340 _ when will these days end? Shark, idiot, this time it won't be the same as last time. It's easier to read on mobile m.heihei168.com. Killer Bee raps and sings and prepares Kisame Hoshigaki with his two index fingers. Kurigakure ghost shoulders against a large knife with a pointed kiba. Yow, it's useless to talk big. Really? Killer Bee looked back at Asan, who was riding a little raccoon and ran away, covered in dark Yuhi's chakra coat. Although it would be very disappointing to destroy this place, but to defeat this guy is the only way, that's it. Little 8. The bull that swept up from the ground covered the sky and shook its head. Asan, who was riding on a good little raccoon, turned his head and sighed. He was going to change houses again. I haven't met this guy since he was accepted as his apprentice. Have a good time. Hurry up, Mrs. Ben, I don't want to be hit by them. The big fluffy tail swung away like a wolf Kiba's stick, and the little raccoon scratched its claws. You don't need to say that the bear also knows that if you don't run, you will hang up. Complete 8 tails. It's really troublesome to fight this kind of thing. Lord Rakage, look. While running, he suddenly stopped and pointed forward. He was very sensitive to chakra and pointed forward. After swiping a few times and jumping onto the treetops, Yui's old face swayed to the ground. Better than this bastard, what are you doing by releasing tailed beasts in such a place? X2 bull hole. Idiot, fool, I'll fry you to char today. The soaring bullhead spit out a large black light, and Kisame Hoshigaki, who fled with a big knife, narrowed his mung bean eyes. This level of chakra cannot be absorbed by the shark muscle. Where are you going? Killer Bee, standing on top of the bull's head, danced and sang a song. Seeing the sweat on the forehead of the 8-tailed ox, waving its claws, he vented his deep resentment on the fleeing ghost shark. Interesting Academy first release. With such a rambunctious person, Jinchuriki column. Damn, why am I waking up to such a hapless neighbor? Another tailed beast bomb failed, and the bull slapped down its octopus-like claws, roaring impatiently. Tailed beast bomb, who almost missed the passenger car, brushed past him. The 4th generation Rakage's face was black, as if he had wiped the bottom of a pot. Bye, you bastard, this time when you go back, you will definitely repay the iron fist of your love. Xiaoba, hurry up, I suddenly have a bad premonition. Killer Bee put away the songbook with a shudder all over his body, and looked around. You have to run away in a while. Such a loud voice will definitely attract attention, and it will be bad if you are caught back. The fiery face of Brother Fui in front of him, Killer Bee Jinchuriki column subconsciously tightened his neck. I don't care what that terrifying guy is doing, they say I'm terrifying, and I think he's terrifying. How many tables has that guy smashed so far? Poor Mabui, poor treasurer, I am so sorry for you. Maybe I should write a song for them. The name of the song is No Spring in Shidemu. Medicine, medicine, check the trouble, smash the table and drink poison. Medicine, medicine, check the urine. Who is that? Who did I see? Set up the west wind and step on the mines. Xiaoba, hurry up and run, Big Brother is here. Compare. The roar that penetrated Yun Xiao stopped the escaping figure, Yui charged with boiling flames. Big Brother. Killer Bee took 2 steps back in fear, and Yui smashed him into the ground with a fist. You bastard. Brother, don't do this, there is an enemy over there. Enemy. The big foot that was about to be kicked in the butt was slowly retracted, and Yui finally found Kisame Hoshigaki with a blue face. Well, we must admit that his face was originally blue. Fool, fool, you're going to be screwed if you go on like this. A-flat combination. Kisame Hoshigaki looked at Killer Bee and then at Moonlight Eye. I didn't think Kurigakure would have such a big face. Be enlightened. Yui shook her shoulders and raised her right arm. Seeing such a familiar gesture, Killer Bee also raised his arms. Kisame Hoshigaki looked left and right and ripped off his coat. Very good, it's not a waste of life to have a good fight. Let me see the benefits of the legendary ab combination. You will see it. Use your life. Ju Niu Lei Plow Hot Knife. The high-flying head sprinkled the sweetness that dyed Yuhi's sky, and Kisame Hoshigaki, who moved his head, smiled and said, what a fast speed, ha ha ha, I can rest my eyes. Stupid, fool, still crap when he's dead. Bye, what are you running around for? Ha, Big Brother, I didn't run, I was studying the art of rap. Do you understand rap? Stupid, you are one. What am I? Yayoi Egwa clenched his fists with an old face, and beat Killer Bee unconscious with a violent hammer. Tarui, take him back to the village. Ah, yes, Lord Rakage. Touching his white-haired head, he resisted Killer Bee with no energy, and the Kumogakure village team set out on their way home. Not long after they left their forefoot, a grass appeared beside the ghost shark who lost his head. The plan is successful, we just need to destroy this one. It was really dangerous just now. Fortunately, the perceptive ninja didn't pay too much attention. White Zetsu, stop talking nonsense, it's mealtime. Black Zetsu, you're always so gluttonous. The pitcher plants that were joined together lay on the ground and spattered with blood, and the distant snow country was covered in silver white. Asshole, don't eat the head first, save the best for last. I still prefer to eat the best first. Go away and keep half of it for me. Anyway, it will enter a belly. Does it make a difference who eats it? We have 2 heads, of course there are differences. Quarrel, devour, clean, and there is one less body in the world. Liamong picked up the seal extremely irritably and covered the document with bang 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 bang. It's really boring work, when will it end? You bastard. Senju Tsunade slapped the table with a slap. You can't stand it if you stamp it. What about the princess? Look at all the shit you've done. Enla, don't be angry my good sister. I'll hammer your back, I'll make your tea. Hinata, bring me the cup. Chi-Chi Jiao smiled and put down the folder. The little secretary turned around and picked up the tea set. Liamong glanced at random twice and suddenly opened his eyes. This is... Happy New Year, everyone.